You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You keep me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how. Welcome to an evening of old-time radio.
Trapped aboard Dr. Fu Manchu's launch, Nayland Smith and Caramel discover Inspector Weymouth and Dr. Petrie as prisoners of Fu Manchu. Released from his bonds by Caramel, Inspector Weymouth attacks Dr. Fu, and in the struggle for possession of a poison needle, both fall overboard and are lost in the dark, fog-bound waters of the Thames. We find Nayland Smith, Caramel, and Dr. Petrie in the office of the River Police. They are discussing the night's happenings.
You found nothing, Thomas? No trace of Weymouth?
Nothing, Mr. Smith. It's odd, too. However, the police launches are still searching. I'm afraid there's not much hope.
And you heard only that hideous laughter?
Yes, just before we picked you up.
I hope to heaven the river's put an end to that yellow swine.
And in that poisonous cellar they found what?
8 men, dead of suffocation.
8 men? Jeremy, you and your brother are free now. You need not fear to answer Mr. Smith's question.
What do you wish to know?
How many men were working with Fu Manchu?
Well, I do not know definitely. I only know that he brought 7 dacoits with him to England.
Do you know of any others aside from the dacoits?
Some there were who lived in the East End. Shenyang was the East End headquarters.
What about the houseboat?
He used that as a laboratory for certain experiments.
And the yacht, Miss Caramel.
It was to have sailed for China after waiting at a certain point until midnight.
Well, it's long past that now. You believe it sailed?
I do not know.
Anything further, Mr. Smith?
No, that's all. And now, Petrie, what are we going to do with her and the boy?
Lodge them at an hotel, I suppose, at present.
Righto. And I'll arrange to have the place patrolled night and day.
Why that? You surely don't believe that
I
Henry...
can't and daren't believe Fu Manchu dead until I've seen his body with my own eyes. Your brother, Mr. Weymouth, made a gallant finish. If ridding the world of Fu Manchu were the only good deed to his credit, his life was well spent.
There are 2 things, Mr. Smith, I cannot understand. What was the meaning of the horrible laughter, and where are the bodies?
Well, Caramel can possibly answer your first question.
When your brother and Dr. Fu fell into the river, Mr. Weymouth, Fu Manchu held a poisoned needle in his hand. The laughter meant that the needle had done its work. Inspector Weymouth had become mad.
What was on the needle?
A poison prepared from the venom of the swamp adder. It produces madness, but not always death.
But the bodies, how do you account for the fact, Mr. Smith, that they were not recovered?
I understand that persons lost at that point are not always recovered. You have told his wife?
Not all. She does not know of the poisoned needle, of course.
Is there any improvement in Mrs. Weymouth's condition?
Very little. She seems to have delusions.
Delusions? What nation?
For the last 3 nights, she's cried out at the same time, 2:30, that someone was knocking on the door.
Which door?
That one yonder, the street door.
Were there any incidents, Mr. Weymouth, occurring with regularity at precisely that time before your brother's death?
John often came home from the yard at that hour of the morning.
I see. And he always knocked on that door before entering.
Yes. We naturally thought Mary was losing her mind. But last night, my wife, who's been staying with her, heard it too.
A subjective hallucination, Petrie?
Very possibly. I suggest, Mr. Weymouth, that your wife be relieved of her duties here. Too great a strain for an inexperienced nurse. Besides, I have a plan. Thank you, and good day. Come, Catamay. You must be mistaken, Catamay. The old gentleman we saw at the British Museum today no more resembles Fu Manchu than I do.
Nevertheless, Fu Manchu was there. I felt his presence. Something always tells me when he's near.
It was Professor Jenner Mond you saw, Catamay. The attendant claimed he knew him well.
Didn't he tell you, Nayland, that the professor had lately returned from China?
Yes. He said Jenner Mond had lived in the Orient so long as to be almost an Oriental. Jenner Mond. I wonder if he could possibly be an ally of Fu's.
Oh, nonsense. If we're to attach any importance to the incident, we must remember that Catamay's impression was that Fu Manchu was there in person. Now, that's impossible. The man's dead.
But is he, Petrie? If I were only sure of that. However, I think I'll call on Professor Mond. Meanwhile, we'll check on him with the yard. Buckingham 2, 9293, please. Yes, Petrie, I think we'll call on Professor Jenner. Hello? Oh, put me through to Burke. Nayland Smith, Burke. Listen. Get all available information on Professor Jenner Mond. Yes, the Egyptologist. Ring me when you have it. I suppose this is another wild goose chase, Petrie, but I must be certain.
Mr. James Weymouth to see you, Dr. Petrie.
Oh, come in, Mr. Weymouth.
Good day, gentlemen.
Well, Mr. Weymouth, what brings you to Baker Street?
Maple Cottage, Mr. Smith, my brother's home. There's something uncanny going on out there.
Oh, really? I'm not surprised, sir. Sit down and tell us about it.
That knocking. Last night I heard it.
You opened the door?
Not at once. I thought of John. It came to me that it was he.
But you did open the door.
Yes, and there was no one there.
You heard nothing?
I could have sworn I heard someone laughing.
Oh, pardon me a moment. Hello? Oh, yes, Burke. Go ahead. A recluse? Few friends? Huh? Give me that address again. New Inn Court, Carey Street. Yes, I see. Well, how long has he been back in London this time? A week? Oh, thanks, Burke. That's all. Oh, you were saying, Mr. Weymouth, you heard someone laugh. Well, and then?
My nerves cracked up. I shut the door. I did not go out.
Would it be possible to have Mrs. Weymouth spend tonight at your home with your wife?
Why, yes, certainly. What's your idea, sir?
In what I may do, I mustn't be handicapped by a sick woman. Petrie and I will be at Maple Cottage before 1 o'clock tonight. Quite an extensive estate back of these homes, Mr. Weymouth. Several acres, I should say.
Yes, it extends down to the village.
Well, it's nearly 2:30. We shan't have long to wait. You have the hypodermic ready, Petrie?
They're on the table. But you surely don't think, Nayland, that anything...
There it is. Stand by, both of you. Ready with that needle, Petrie.
Good heavens! John! Weymouth!
Petrie, hold him.
Right.
A hypodermic, Petrie, quick. There. Put him on the couch. How long is that hypodermic good for?
8 to 10 hours.
John, he's half starved, unkempt. Those ragged clothes. He must have gone through something horrible.
Just a moment. Hello. Oh, yes, Thomas? You arrested him. Good. Keep the place surrounded. Let no one in or out. I'll be there as soon as possible. Well, lock the place up, Mr. Weymouth, and go home. Say nothing of this to his wife until you hear from me. We are taking him with us. Untidy mess Professor Mond has here.
We arrested him as he came in, sir. He's made no statement. He's in the next room.
You searched the place, Thomas?
Not yet. We were waiting for you.
Fragments of 100 ages scattered about. Put Weymouth in that chair. One of your men will stay with him, Thomas. Come on, Peter.
There he is.
In that great chair, calmly reading. Seems a shame. White-bearded old gentleman like that.
Genemonde. Watch, Petrie. Watch closely.
What? Great Scott!
You see, Petrie? A wig and a false beard.
By Jove! Fu Manchu!
Clever, Mr. Smith. Very clever.
Drowned in the Thames, eh? What have you done with Professor Genemond?
Professor Mond, he has been detained in the Orient. As a guest of the Black Puppies, he is being well cared for, Mr. Smith.
I can well imagine. Now, Dr. Fu, can you restore the inspector to sanity?
Inspector Weymouth? Oh, so you have found him. Under certain conditions, I can.
No conditions. I can't save you from the hangman, and I wouldn't if I could.
You misunderstand, Mr. Smith. What I have done from conviction and what I have done through necessity are separate. Inspector Weymouth, I wounded with a poisoned needle in self-defense. Yes, there is an antidote to the poison.
Name it.
Useless, I alone can prepare it. I will do so only under one condition.
And that condition?
That no one else shall be in the room or the house but he and I. Where is he?
In the next room. We brought him with us. He's under an opiate.
Make your arrangements, then, that he and I be left alone.
I don't trust you. You're planning a trick.
May the god of Cathay hear me. I swear to restore the inspector to full health and vigor under the conditions stipulated.
Very well, that's sufficient. Thomas, your men are to return to their posts outside. Come.
Very good, sir.
Made a mistake, Nayland.
Trust him. Oh, what else was there to do? He's the only man on earth who can restore Weymouth.
What about him? Fu Manchu, Mr. Smith.
The moment Weymouth steps out of that door, you'll go in and take him, Thomas.
Right, sir.
Nayland, look. Coming out of the house. It's Weymouth.
Smith. Dr. Petrie. What's happened?
Oh, Weymouth. You're all right?
Well, yes. Yes, I'm all right. A bit tired.
Great Scott, what's that? Nayland! Fire! The house is in flames!
Quick, Thomas, into that door.
Impossible! It's already a roaring furnace!
We've got to get Fu Manchu.
Mr. Smith, Dr. Petrie.
Listen.
I am recalled by one who may not be denied. In much that I came to do, I have failed. Much that I have done, I would undo. Out of the fire I came, in fire I go. Seek not my ashes. I am the Lord of the fire.
The shadow of Fu Manchu. The shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Rohmer. During a tour of the British Museum, Garame senses the presence of the supposedly drowned Dr. Fu Manchu. He indicates to Nayland Smith and Dr. Petrie the elderly recluse, Professor Jenneman, explorer and Orientalist. Given up as dead, following his drowning with Fu Manchu, Inspector Weymouth has discovered a raving maniac near his home. Believing that Professor Jenneman may be an ally of Fu Manchu's, Nayland Smith has him held for questioning, and under a gray wig and false beard, he discovers Fu Manchu. Stipulating that he be left alone with Weymouth, Fu Manchu agrees to restore the inspector to sanity. As Weymouth leaves the house, a sane man, the building bursts into uncontrollable flames, with Fu Manchu apparently still inside.
Thomas, instruct your men to watch closely. If Fu Manchu comes out of that inferno, take him.
Great Scott, Mr. Smith. No one could possibly survive those flames.
Nevertheless, keep a sharp lookout.
Right, sir. Those flames are abnormal, Nayland.
Oh, I was a fool to trust him. But what else could I do? He at least kept his word regarding Weymouth.
Thank heaven for that. But how on earth could he have produced such an all-embracing and swift fire?
Heaven knows, Peter. A case containing the substance for Weymouth's cure. There must have been something in that.
This time, Nayland, there can be no mistake. He is dead. He lighted his own funeral fire.
Well, I'll not be sure until I've personally combed the ashes of that building. I say, Thomas.
Yes, sir.
You're positive no one could have left that building undetected?
Positive, sir. Not a single loophole of escape.
Good. And Weymouth?
I sent him home, sir, with one of our men. What happened, Mr. Smith? The report was circulated at the yard that Weymouth had been drowned, along with that madman in there.
We all thought so, Thomas. Thank heaven we were mistaken. No doubt he'll make a full report of the occurrence to his chief. You'd better get back to your men now.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and Thomas, as soon as the fire department has that fire out, we'll go through these ashes with rakes. We'll be looking for traces of human bone. Weymouth miraculously restored to sanity by the man he fought. The place in flames, burned to the ground with a rapidity that points to some hidden agency, yet not a trace of human ashes.
Well, he couldn't have gotten away in the confusion, Nayland. There was no possible chance of escape. A rat couldn't have passed Thomas's men undetected.
Then how are we to account for the absence of any bones?
We must remember that as a chemist, he has no equal. I'd say that whatever caused that fire to burn so swiftly and savagely very likely also consumed Fu Manchu's remains.
I hope you're right. But his last speech to us out of that inferno, was it the taunt of a madman bent on self-destruction or the jibe of a clever scientist and the most elusive being ever born?
Will we ever know the answer to that? But whatever it was, his voice was raised not in anguish, but in triumph.
Gad, had that man only been born under another star, what a godsend he might have been to humanity, to civilization.
Yes. Strange that a man should turn the intelligence of such stupendous brain power, such vast knowledge to the perpetration of crime.
Yes, the most dreadful being who ever threatened the peace of the civilized world.
You know, Nayland, I'm almost positive that this weird being had conceived some kind of admiration. Respect is perhaps a better word for Weymouth.
He had, Petrie. Very much so. Weymouth is absolutely the opposite type. It was very likely the admiration of a brainy man for brawn and muscle. Though Fu Manchu was by no means a weakling himself.
I was just going to say, the fight he had on the launch with the inspector proved that.
His was the strength of madness, Petrie. Ordinarily, he'd have been no match for Weymouth. However, Fu Manchu was capable of strange sentiments. He had a similar feeling about yourself.
About me? Oh, come, Nayland. Fu Manchu regarded me as a nitwit. He had little respect for my mentality.
Then why, during the several times you were in his power, didn't he destroy you? Had you ever thought of that? It would have been simple enough.
Yes, I suppose it would.
And never can we be positive of his death. Oh, by the way, Sir Basil has just told me the time to return to Burma.
Burma? Great Scott, man. Aren't you entitled to a rest after all this?
Oh, the powers that be grant me a fortnight. I'm leaving then.
I shall miss you, Nayland.
Not to mention Caramay, eh? She and Ollie will be with me as far as Alexandria.
I hope she's able to locate her family. You're going to help her, of course.
All I can, that's right. No one for me this time, old chap. Probably one of your patients.
Dr. Petrie speaking.
Hello, Petrie. Hello. Nayland now?
Right here's about it.
Put him on, will you,
Just a moment. Well, no rest for the weary, Nayland. Sir Basil Townsend of Scotland Yard.
Oh, great Scott. Can't they let a man catch his breath? Yes, Chief?
Sorry to interrupt the beginning of your vacation, old man, but are you at liberty to come to the yard to my office immediately?
Of course, sir. What's up?
We'll hold the details until you get here. Oh, bring Dr. Petrie if he cares to come.
Righto, sir. At once.
Sit down, gentlemen. Sorry, Nayland, to have had to call you, but something in your line has only just come up.
In my line? Oh, what is it, Chief?
Heaven knows. If I weren't positive that Fu Manchu is dead, I'd almost believe that... However, you and Petrie haven't had commonplace lives lately. Fu Manchu saw to that. But if I'm not mistaken, even stranger things are ahead of you.
It's almost impossible, Sir Basil. Terror can have no blacker meaning than that which Fu Manchu gave to it. But as you say, Fu Manchu is dead.
That being the case, Chief, what have I to fear?
You have to fear the sea fan.
By Jove. The sea fan. I've always felt that Fu Manchu was the servant of others.
Right, Nathan. We knew he wasn't the head of the organization which dealt in wholesale murder, which aimed at upsetting the balance of the world. I think you even know the name of the certain Mandarin and member of the Black Poppies who was his immediate superior.
I do. But I've never dared guess at the identity of what we may call the head center. Then I suppose, sir, my return to Burma is postponed.
For the present, at least. Caused by the sudden arrival of Sir Gregory Hale, former attaché of the British Embassy at Peking.
Sir Gregory? Here in London?
At the New Louvre Hotel. Suite 14A, 4th floor.
Has he made a report to the India office?
On the contrary. He hasn't entered any office. Nor will he receive any representative. He's been locked up in his suite since his arrival a week ago.
But I thought he'd only just arrived.
So did we. Until we learned differently.
Great Scott. Is the man mad to lock himself up in that fashion?
Either mad, Nayland, or the savior of the Indian Empire. Just what do you know of him?
Oh, not a great deal. In fact, only slightly. He honored me at one time with the belief that I was the only man in Europe worthy of his confidence.
He resigned his appointment at Peking some 8 months ago, didn't he?
Yes, and set out on a private expedition to the Mongolian frontier with the intention of visiting some place in the Gobi Desert. From the time he crossed the frontier, he disappeared for 6 months.
To reappear in London a week ago. Only today he advised the India office of his return by telephone. He demanded that no one but you be sent to see him.
No one but...
None other, old chap. And so great is my faith in his knowledge of Far Eastern matters that your return to Burma is postponed indefinitely.
I suppose, then, I'm to go to the New Louvre Hotel.
At once. Take a suite on the same floor. You'll go with him, Dr. Petrie. That is, if you can spare the time.
Of course, gladly.
Good. Keep in touch with me, Nayland, and watch out for the sea fan.
Strange business, Petrie. Stranger, I believe, than any we've known even with Dr. Fu Manchu.
Oh, that would be utterly impossible, Nayland.
It would seem so, wouldn't it? Yet I'm positive that Fu Manchu is, or was, connected with... Do you hear anything, Petrie?
Sort of tapping?
Yes, listen. Strange how things like that make you hold your breath. Eh?
Our experience with Fu Manchu has made us act like nervous old women. But tell me, who or what is this sea fan you and Sir Basil seem to be so familiar with?
Possibly the real and as yet unsolved riddle of Tibet. The mystery concealed from the world behind the veil of Lamaism. And Sir Gregory Hale is the man who has dared to raise that veil. Let's look him up.
Yes, Suite 14A, isn't it? It's almost across the hall.
Lock the door, Petrie.
Right.
Oh, yes, there's Suite 14A, just...
Oh, I beg your pardon, gentlemen. Can you help me? He's my master. Come and see him, for heaven's sake. Come and see him.
Now, steady, old man, steady. What's wrong?
He's dying or going mad, sir. I never disobeyed his orders before, but I can't stand it. I can't help myself.
Who are you? What's your trouble?
I'm Beetson, Sir Gregory Hale's man.
Sir Gregory? Come on, Petrie. I don't see him in the sitting room. Where is he, Beetson?
The bedroom. In there, sir.
Great Scott! Can this creature be Sir Gregory Hale? Lift him up, Petrie. He seems to be choking.
Glass of water, Beetson, hurry.
What is it, Petrie? In heaven's name, what is it?
I don't know. Apparently losing the power of speech.
The water. He was stricken dumb, gentlemen, a few minutes ago.
Bring this, Sir Gregory. Here. Easy.
Help me. Smell. Right.
He wants to write. Quick, Petrie. Hold him up. Here, Sir Gregory. My notebook and pencil.
He dropped off to sleep out there in the other room. I brought him here and laid him on the bed. And when he woke up, he was like that. There it is again. That tapping. Oh, stop it. Stop it.
Listen.
Sir Gregory. Look, Captain. By Jove.
Pull yourself together, Beeson. I'm afraid there's nothing can be done, Sir Gregory, now. He's dead.
Dead? Dead?
The paper, Petrie. He wrote 6 lines.
Huh? What is it?
Guard my diary. Tibetan frontier. Key of India. Yellow rising. Watch Tibet and the sea fan. And beware man with limp.
The shadow of Fu Manchu. The shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. Following the return to sanity of Inspector Weymouth and the burning to death of Fu Manchu, Nayland Smith is sent by his chief to the hotel of Sir Gregory Hale, erstwhile attaché to the British Embassy at Pekin, and to receive from him a report on the Mongolian frontier. Smith, accompanied by Dr. Petrie, discovers Sir Gregory at the point of death. Unable to speak, Sir Gregory scribbles a few words in Smith's notebook before he dies. The paper reads, "Guard my diary. Watch Tibet and the sea fan. And beware the man with the limp."
As usual, Petrie, we're in too late. 10 minutes earlier, and we might have saved Sir Gregory Hale's life.
Beware the man with the limp. The sea fan.
The sitting room.
Come on. Lights, Petrie. Find the lights. He went out that door. Oh, blast it.
There he goes. Down the end of the corridor. I'll get him.
Look, that small brass chest. He left it there for me to fall over. An old trick, but effective.
He got away, sir. Disappeared. When I got to the corner, he was gone. The chest. That's what he was after. Oh, thank heaven you were too quick for him.
What about the chest?
Sir Gregory brought it to England with him. He's been guarding it for the past week, night and day, with a loaded pistol.
Put it on the table. You know, Beatson, what it contains?
No, sir. Every night he lay with his head on it. During the day, he never took his eyes from it.
Close the door, Petrie. He didn't tell you, Beatson, what was in that chest? He said nothing?
He'd cry out in the dead of the night, "Beatson, you hear that woman?" And then he was constantly listening for someone that he called the man with the limp.
The man with the limp?
He'd have me up with him during the night, listening with him. "There he goes," he whispered, with his ear close to the door.
Has he had any visitors?
None, sir. He said that he'd seen no one but a Mr. Nayland Smith. He said Mr. Smith was the only man he could trust.
You've gone through a trying ordeal, old man. No one could have done his duty better. This gentleman is Nayland Smith.
Well, thank heaven you've come, sir.
Whatever can be done to carry out your master's wishes shall be done. Go into your room now and lie down until we call you. You need the rest.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir.
Petrie, I want you to examine the body of Sir Gregory. Determine the cause of death if you can. I'll go over things out here. Let me know if you find it.
Found it on the bed. Could it mean anything?
What is it?
A flower. Bruised, but fresh. Couldn't have been in the room very long. What's the matter?
Put that thing down, Petrie. On the table.
Well, of course, but
You didn't break that stalk?
No, I found it just as you see it.
Have you smelled the petals?
No, I intended
Don't
to.
do it! Pronounce slowly the word Sakyamuni.
What in the name of...
I mean it. Do as I tell you.
Of course. Sakya Muni.
Phew. All right. Now go and wash your hands thoroughly. There, in the bathroom. Vincent! Go on, Petrie. Wash your hands.
Oh, you fall, sir.
Have any flowers been brought into this room today?
Flowers? No, sir.
You were certain of that?
Positive.
Who brought up the meals?
No one, sir. There's enough tinned and bottled food here, sir, to last for weeks. I got it the day we arrived. No one has entered or left these rooms until you came tonight.
Excepting yourself.
Excepting myself, sir.
Then how in the world... You washed your hands, Petrie, thoroughly?
Of course, but why...
Later, old chap, later. Do me a favor now. Telephone down to the manager and ask him to come up at once. Then call Weymouth. But not a word to either of what's happened here.
Oh, well. Telephone seems to be out of order.
Oh.
Well, I'll go down to the lobby.
Righto, and hurry. Beetson, go with him.
Yes, sir. The elevator, Dr. Petrie. He's around the corner at the far end of the corridor.
Wait. Listen. That tapping.
We've heard it often, sir, passing our door.
Seems to come from down the corridor around the corner. Let's see who it is. Come.
That door. Just closing. You went in there.
Right. Well, we'll see.
Well, what do you want? Go away. This private room.
There's someone in here I wish to see.
You see nobody. Go away.
Well, if that beats me. Well, come on. Let's go on to the lobby. This hotel must cater to Orientals, huh?
A half-caste, sir. I've seen many like her in the East.
Have you seen this particular one during your stay at the hotel?
No, sir.
Well, hope she doesn't report us to the management. Well, you'd better go back to the room. I'll make the phone call and...
So distinguished a guest as Sir Gregory should have chosen the New Louvre as a place to terminate his career. I hope you'll keep it as quiet as possible. I'll do what I can. Oh, by the way, you have Oriental guests with you? None at the moment, sir.
No, not a certain Oriental lady?
No, sir. You have likely seen one of the ayahs. There are several Anglo-Indian families here. Very well. The authorities will be here presently to take over. I'll see they cause as little fuss as possible. Thank you.
I'm positive, Nayland, that the man with the limp was in that room. The woman acted frightened, guilty.
Perhaps he was, Petrie. However, we're not dealing with Fu Manchu now, but an entirely unknown quantity. The sea fan.
Just what the devil is the sea fan?
The greatest mystery of the mysterious East. We know that Fu Manchu was in England, paving the way for a vast empire. An empire the rest of the world terms the peril. Well, such an empire must have...
An emperor.
Why not an empress?
Oh, the lowly place held by women of the East.
I can cite notable exceptions, both ancient and modern. However, a moment's consideration will disclose many advantages in the creation by a hypothetical group of an empress.
Well, I don't follow. I should think a man
Now, wait.
would...
There's a persistent tradition throughout the East that such a woman will one day rule over the world.
Oh, legend, a superstition.
I was assured some years ago by a learned pundit, a sort of Buddhist prophet, that a princess of very ancient lineage living in some secret monastery of Tibet was to be the future empress of the known world.
And you believe that?
I believe this tradition, or the group who seek to keep it alive, to be what is called the Sea Pan. Some of what I've told you is legendary and some superstition, but part of it is true.
Come, old man, really now, you're joking.
By no means. And Hale blundered into this giant conspiracy, in which I'm certain Fu Manchu had a hand. And in that brass chest is something indispensable to the success of this vast movement.
Then he was followed to this very hotel by agents of that group?
Rather evident, isn't it?
You're going to open the chest?
Decidedly not. Hale's fate is warning enough for me to keep away from it. Since I was with him when he died, and they don't know how much I know.
You have some idea how he died?
The flower of silence. You found it. That thing on the table.
You call it the Flower of Silence. Then you must know something.
I ran across it once. In Upper Burma. A Tibetan monk died mysteriously. Inarticulate. The native who took me to him saw in the monk's hand a crumpled flower. He bolted, screaming, "The Flower of Silence, the Sifan."
Well, how does the poison enter the circulation?
A hollow thorn among the petals. How it functions, I don't know. But I extracted enough poison from the petals to kill a dozen men.
Oh. Well, why, Nayland, did you have me repeat the words Sakyamuni?
From the pundit I mentioned, I learned the Flower of Silence was used by a certain group. He said that, according to some authorities, one who had touched it might escape death by immediately pronouncing the sacred name of Buddha.
Magic, Nayland. Bit out of date in this day and age, eh?
The pundit was no fanatic. You see, he explained that no one who had been poisoned by the flower could correctly pronounce the word Sakya Muni.
Oh, I see. Since the effect of the flower is to instantly tie the tongue, I suppose the pronouncing of the name of Buddha becomes a test whereby the victim may learn if the poison has entered his system, eh?
Exactly.
Then, Nayland, it behooves us to be doubly on our guard. Unless I'm very much mistaken, the man who mysteriously entered these rooms in search of that chest and the woman I saw are one and the same.
What gives you that impression?
The glimpse I caught of the fellow as he went through that door. Well, he was small, and the woman's face seemed familiar.
Then at least two of the Oriental group are here in the hotel. The woman and the man with the limp. We'll guard the chest, turn and turn about tonight, old chap. You take the first watch. Wake me at 4 a.m. And remember, we must not doze for an
Joe. Strange tapping again. The floor above.
Nayland. 4 o'clock.
Nayland. Great Scott. Nayland, wake up!
Peter. Well, what's happened?
Quick, get out of the way.
What's the matter, old man?
Matter enough. This light fixture. It was hanging within an inch of your face. Look, fastened to the edge of it.
Flower of Silence. Good heavens.
Someone has been at work on the floor of the room above the bedroom. They fastened the flower to the fixture, let it down, and you would have tried to brush the thing away.
Ah. Now I see how the thing was introduced into Hale's room. By the light fixture over the bed. Sakya Muni. Sakya Muni.
Oh, thank heaven I saw it in time. Say, listen. We shan't miss him this time. Come on, Nayland.
No. There are times when prudence is the better part of valor. Neither of us must leave this room tonight.
The shadow of Fu Manchu. The shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. Instructed by his chief to pick up a confidential report on a Far Eastern matter from Sir Gregory Hale, former attaché to the British Embassy at Pekin, Nayland Smith and Dr. Petrie found the diplomat in his hotel at the point of death. On Sir Gregory's pillow, Dr. Petrie discovers the flower of silence, the first effect of which is to render one instantly inarticulate. Sir Gregory scribbles a few words before he dies, warning Smith to beware of the man with the limp. While guarding a brass chest, presumably containing Sir Gregory's confidential report, Dr. Petrie hears a cautious, dragging step and the tapping of a cane in the hall outside the door of their hotel suite. As he hurries to waken Smith, Dr. Petrie discovers attached to the shade of the bed lamp and about to touch the face of his sleeping companion, the deadly flower of silence. With a cry of warning, he tears the light fixture from the ceiling.
The light fixture! It was hanging within an inch of your face. Look, fastened to the edge. Great Scott. The flower of silence. Someone was at work on the floor of the room above. They cut a hole in the ceiling of our bedroom and drew the lamp cord up, fastened the flower to the shade, and let it down again. You would have tried to brush the thing away.
Now I see how the flower of silence was introduced into Sir Gregory's room. By the light fixture over the bed.
Thank heaven, Nayland, I saw it in time.
And thanks to you, Petrie, old chap, I'm still alive.
Listen. Come on, Nayland. We shan't miss him this time.
No. There are times when it pays to be prudent. Neither of us are leaving this room tonight.
But to let him escape.
As long as Sir Gregory's brass chest's in our possession, we won't lose the man with the limp. Or the sea fan.
What is the sea fan, Mr. Smith?
Well, I believe it's the name of an extensive secret society. Branches reaching from Tibet into every corner of the Orient.
Does that answer your question, Sergeant Fletcher?
Partly. Mr. Smith, Inspector Weymouth has told me what he knows of this case, which is that brass chest on the table, locked, contents unknown, came into your possession through the death of a man who brought it from Tibet. He's dead, possibly murdered by members of this sea fan. You know there is someone here in London anxious to get hold of that chest, right?
Exactly, Sergeant. I have theories about their identity, but no facts.
Sergeant Fletcher specializes in Oriental crimes. He spends much of his time among our Asiatic visitors.
And you're familiar, Sergeant, with Chinatown?
I am, sir. Thoroughly. And with many of its big men. For instance, Inspector Weymouth tells me that you're looking for someone described as the man with the limp.
What do you know of the man with the limp?
There's a place down Shadwell Way, known as the Joy Shop, run by John Key.
It's a gambling joint, an unlicensed grub shop. And worse, it's more use to us open than it would be shut.
It's one of my regular jobs to keep an eye on the place. I have plenty of friends who use it. Of course, they don't know what I am.
But the man with the limp, what about him?
That's the mystery, sir. Everyone seems to have heard him, but no one has ever seen him.
You heard him?
I have. When Inspector Weymouth told me about this sea fan mystery, I thought he might be the man you're looking for.
And you say he's been heard in this joy shop?
Yes, and if you'd care to look the place over, a good opportunity has come up for you to do so.
Oh, how do you mean?
A woman has lately shown up there, about the same time as the man with the limp. She's a bit different from the usual type, though. Eurasian, but a good looker.
Eurasian, you say, Sergeant?
A half-caste, at least. A tigerish sort of person. In looks, I mean.
You know her?
Well, I've done my best to get into her good graces. To a certain extent, I believe I've succeeded. I was there last night, and Zulika, that's her name, asked me if I knew a big, strong fella.
A strong fellow, eh?
Yes, I thought it might lead you to something anyway.
So you told her you had such a...
Yes, and promised to bring him along this very night.
Good. I'll be that man. I'll leave all details to you and Weymouth and meet you at the yard tonight. We'll go disguised, of course.
Right, sir.
Speaking of Eurasians, Doctor, when does Caramel sail for Egypt?
She and her brother sail tomorrow.
Now, Petrie, I'm leaving you out of tonight's business, unless Weymouth can find a place for you in his part of the program.
He's welcome to go with Mackay and me on the police launch.
I'll be with you, Weymouth.
Right. Then Fletcher and I will be off to make the necessary arrangements. We'll look for both of you at the yard this evening. Come along, Fletcher.
Now, wait a moment, Weymouth. I'll go with you as far as the street. I'm taking a taxi to the bank. This chest goes into a bank vault today.
Hello. Buckingham 2, 9292, please. Scotland Yard? Put me through to Inspector Weymouth, please.
Hello, Petrie.
Oh, Weymouth? Have you heard from Smith?
No, haven't seen him since I saw him out for the bank this morning.
Well, it seems to me one of us should have heard from him today.
Oh, no cause for alarm, Doctor. It's never punctual. He'll show up in time for tonight's work.
Yes, I suppose so. However, I think I'll come up to the yard immediately. I'll leave word for him here. If he turns up at the yard before I arrive, have him... Word, Smith, yet, Weymouth?
Nothing yet, Doctor.
To which bank, Dr. Petrie, did he take that chest?
The West End branch of the International.
Suppose you call the resident manager. He should be able to tell you if Smith was there today.
Yes, Radcliffe should know. We're both acquainted with him. Will you get him for me, Weymouth?
Yes.
Yes, sir?
Put me through to the West End branch of the International Bank. The resident assistant manager. His name's Ratcliffe. I don't know the number offhand. Look it up.
Yes, sir.
I don't think there's any cause for worry, Petrie. He's bound to show up any minute.
Probably. Nevertheless, I'm uneasy. I'm sure he'd have gotten in touch during the day. We would have dinner together before coming on here.
Weymouth speaking.
Mr. Radcliffe, sir.
Right. Put him on. Radcliffe, Dr. Petrie.
Hello, Mr. Radcliffe. This is Dr. Petrie.
Hello, Doctor.
Has Nayland Smith been in the bank today? Yes. He was to have deposited some valuables in your vaults this morning. He hasn't been there?
Why, no, Doctor. No, I haven't seen him today.
You're sure of that?
Quite sure.
Very well. Thank you. Well, gentlemen, Nayland Smith has not been to the bank today, and he left the hotel before 11 this morning.
And the last thing he said in the taxi, he was going directly to the bank. He couldn't have taken that stuff to some other bank, Doctor.
Unlikely, Weymouth. He told me he was going straight to the West End branch of the International. Well, I've had a premonition all day. Something's been bothering me, and I believe I know what it is. That cabman.
Cabman?
Yes, the one who drove Nayland this morning. I noticed he didn't look around or speak when Nayland gave him the address.
He was a small fellow, wasn't he? Wore dark glasses?
By Jove, yes. And if it hadn't been for those glasses, he'd have been handsome, feminine.
The great Robbie Burns. You mean it could have been a woman?
That's exactly what I mean. That confounded Eurasian woman of the hotel.
By Jove. The sea fan. It's no easy matter to patrol the neighborhood of John Key's shop without their getting wind of it.
That's right. The entrance is a long, narrow rat hole of a street, running at right angles to the Thames. There's no spot from which the backyard can be overlooked.
Here's the river police station. Mackay will be waiting. Come along.
The police launch can drop down the tide, lie off the Surrey bank. There's a vacant wharf facing the street. You can slip through, Inspector, and show a light. Then Dr. Petrie and I'll know you've arrived. We'll answer your signal. If there's any trouble, we'll blaze away with our revolvers.
Right. Well, here we are, Mackay. You don't seem to recognize Dr. Petrie.
Dr. Petrie?
Great Scott. I wouldn't have known him in that makeup in a month of Sundays. What's up, gentlemen?
It's the Fu Manchu business again, Mackay.
Fu Manchu? I understood that case was off the book. I thought he'd burned to death in that house in Carey Street.
Some of his friends are pretty much alive, then. It seems that Fu Manchu was only the agent for someone a great deal bigger.
Joe, has the real head of the business turned up, then?
We find we are now up against what is known as the sea fan.
The sea fan? What in the name of common decency is that?
You see, Weymouth? Always the same question. What is the sea fan? Perhaps Mackay, Nayland Smith could tell you, if he were here. The sea fan got him today.
Got him?
Nayland Smith is missing, Mackay. Vanished. Fletcher here has found out that John Key's place is connected in some way with the business.
Johnny Key, eh?
Well, let's get started, Weymouth. We're wasting precious time, and you know what that may mean.
Right. Mackay, I'm going with you in the launch. Fletcher and Dr. Petrie are going by cab.
Only part way. We'll walk the rest. Johnny Key's patrons don't, as a rule, show up in taxis. Come along, Doctor.
Don't forget the signal, and don't go into that dive until you have our reply.
Right, Inspector. There's the joy shop on the left. That dim light's coming from the open door. Here's the wharf. Through this old gate. Just a moment. All right, Doctor, slip through. Be careful. It's only a few steps to the edge of the wharf. And lower your voice. Great Scott, it's black down here. I'll use my flash so we can find our way to the edge. Be careful of those boards. They're pretty rotten. All right, Doctor. This'll do. Keep an eye out there for Weymouth's reply. There it is. 3 flashes. Right. And now for John Key's. Keep your eyes open, Doctor. There isn't a man or woman in the place would hesitate to cut our throats if they suspected we were with the police. Come on.
Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. While conveying the murdered Sir Gregory Hale's brass chest from his hotel to a bank vault, Alan Smith is trapped by agents of the Si-Fan, a powerful Oriental secret society. Seeking a clue to his whereabouts and to the identity of the mysterious man with the limp, Dr. Petrie and Detective Sergeant Fletcher, both disguised as sailors, have gone to John Key's Joy Shop, an unsavory den on the bank of the Thames, frequented by Asiatics. They pause for a moment at the door of the Joy Shop. Fletcher is giving his companion a few last instructions.
Don't speak if you can help it, Doctor. If you have to, use a dialect. By the way, what shall I call you? Dr. Petrie's a bit formal for the Joy Shop.
Oh, Jim will do, or Doc.
Jim it is, then. Charlie will do for me. Come along.
Hello, John. How's your blinking business this evening?
Thinking mighty good now. You bring friend, Charlie?
Yep. Maybe show him play one piece of card. He's got plenty of money.
Him no police.
Nah, John, he's no Bobby.
You go inside. Make him one piece of claim all right.
Come on. He says it's all right. You savvy pigeon, Doctor?
Oh, I can carry on this messenger.
Good. In here. Take a quick look round. Let pay no further attention to anybody. Get the lay of the place. In that room to the left, Fantan. The door at the back, opium.
Our next move.
There's a vacant table near that rear door. We'll take it. If anyone gets in our way, shove them aside. Come on.
A bit of all right, this place, Jim? Sit down.
You're nervous. Remember what I told you. Be careful.
Who's that woman coming toward us?
Zuleika. Careful now.
Hello, Charlie. Why you come so late?
Better late than never, Zuleika. Besides, we ain't late. It's only the shank of the evening.
Is this your strong friend?
Yep, that's him.
How you call him, Charlie?
His name's Jim.
Jim, aye. It's nice name. What, you and your friend drinking?
The same as usual, and plenty of it.
I bring it right away.
That girl. She's the ayah of the hotel.
You can't be mistaken.
Positive, I know her. She was dressed differently, of course, but I can't be mistaken.
Listen. That dragging step. Cane.
Man with the limp. We're on the verge of something, Fletcher.
You heard it?
Plainly. He must be in there, the opium den. By Jove, man. This place holds the key to the whole mystery.
Quiet. She's coming with the drinks.
Zuleika bring you good drinks this time. Here. Now, Jim, you will do something for me later?
Anything you say, Zuleika, now or later.
Good. Fine. It's nice for your friend, Charlie. I am going like him.
Here's your money for the drink.
You pay later, maybe. You sure you do something for me, Jim?
Sure I will. I told you anything, any time.
Soon I tell you. You do what I say, I pay you well. You stay here now. I will call you.
Now I'm positive. That girl drove the cab that came for Smith this morning.
And it's plain Providence brought us here tonight. She's a member of the Si-Fan?
Undoubtedly.
Sit tight then and wait. We'll play the hand as it's dealt us. Don't do anything rash. Now's the time. She's just come out of the opium den. She's motioned for us. Come on. Any plans? No plans. We'll be guided by circumstances. Softly now.
Come now, you two. You will help me now, no?
Righto, Zuleika. Lead the way.
Come then. In here, in this shed. That big box on the floor. You two carry it and come with me.
Where do you want it, Zuleika?
This door, it opens on the wall. Bring the box there. Hurry.
Right, Al. There we go, Jim. Hoist it up.
The box, Fletcher. It's a coffin. Right. But what or who is in it? Smith. I'm positive. Look. It's just been nailed up.
Hurry, you two. Bring the box here. Then I tell you what to do.
Carry on, Petrie. Not the time now to show our hand. Come on. The box.
There we are. Where we put it, Zuleika? It's blinking heavy, I say.
You must carry it down walk steps to little boat.
Right, El. Lead the way.
It's not far enough, Fletcher. We can't take it to that boat. Right. One of you give the word, then. I'll take care of the girl. You get the box open. Ready? Now.
What is it? Why you put down box? Bring it to
Not
little boat.
this time, Zuleika. Look out, Fletcher. She's making for the boat.
I'll get her.
The signal to Weymouth.
Get
Weymouth! Weymouth!
All right, men. Clean out that guy. Arrest them all. We'll have the box open in half a moment, Dr. Petrie. Get at it, Thomas. Ellis, use the crowbar. Lively now. While they're opening the box, Doctor, will they have a look at Fletcher here? He's hurt.
Fletcher? What? By Jove, that's a nasty cut. How did this...
She got me with a knife. Down there at the boat. Your friend, Smith.
Easy, old man. They're opening the box. By Jove, Weymouth. Fletcher's fainted.
He's hurt bad. Is he finished?
Well, it's a nasty wound, Weymouth. Painful, no doubt, but not necessarily fatal. You see here? The knife slipped along a rib.
We'll get him to the hospital immediately. I'll turn him over to the police surgeon.
Right.
Inspector Weymouth, we have it open. It's Mr. Smith's body, all right.
What? His body? I can't be dead. Here, let me see. Oh, thank heaven. His pulse is strong. Your flask, Weymouth.
Here. You're certain he's all right?
Yes, drugged, I think. Jove, I wish I had my case. You see? He'll be all right presently. Give me a hand. We'll lift him up.
My God, what?
It's all right, then, old chap. Here, take another swallow.
Petrie. Weymouth. The brass chest. They got it.
Easy, old chap. Rather the chest than you.
Thanks, old boy. You came through all right?
Right as rain. But if you can, tell us what's happened.
First, how did you know I was in that box?
Well, I didn't know. I was sure of it, though, the moment I saw it.
You saw what else it contained? Look.
By Jove. Gold ornaments, cups, vases. Looks like the loot of a cathedral. What is it, Nealon?
The treasure of the sea fan, I believe. Where it came from or where it was bound, I don't know yet.
You called it the treasure of the sea fan. You don't suppose...
Oh, not their entire resources, Weymouth. Something gathered here and there to be shipped, I suppose, to the Society in the East.
Then you and that box were also to be shipped to Seafan headquarters?
I doubt that. I'm not important enough for the black poppies.
The black poppies? You mean the sea fan, don't you?
I mean, I'm certain now the black poppies and the sea fan are one and the same. If not that, they're at least working together. Lying there in that den, I learned quite a bit.
You were in there while Fletcher and I...
Yes, I heard you come in. I heard you talking with that she-devil who drove my cab this morning.
Ah, then I was right about the cab driver. But how did you get into that box so quickly?
While you and Fletcher were drinking in the outer room, Zuleika and one other took me out, drugged me, and, I suppose, nailed me up in the box.
How did they work it, Smith? From the cab angle, I mean.
Oh, easily enough. The windows were fastened down. Some sort of anesthetic was shot through the speaking tube.
Some of the oldest and most shop-worn tricks are still the most effective.
As used by the sea fan, yes. But they have others, Weymouth. Some that you and I never heard of.
I see that. It also looks as if your plans had leaked through to these people somehow.
Not the least doubt of that. My suspicions point to high quarters.
Mr. Smith, in here, sir.
That's Ellis. He's found something.
By Jove, look there, Nayland. The missing brass chest.
And John Key.
He brought it in from the cellar. I caught him just as he was making off with it.
I mean, not like he always blabbering. Little bats make plenty trouble.
Yes, you're in plenty trouble, John. You're going to prison because of it.
I mean, not like a prison inspector. No can watch in my house.
Don't worry about your house, John. It'll be a long time before you see it again. Take him away, Ellis.
Come on, John. You're going to come with me now. Come on.
The chest, Nayland, are you going to open it?
I think not. I'll have it valued in the morning by Myers.
Meanwhile, there's nothing more to be done here. We've gathered in most of the customers of the place, and I suppose you'll want to question them.
No, they'll all be small fry. They'll know little or nothing. Don't hold them on my account.
You'll be going back to the hotel or to Baker Street?
For the present, Weymouth, the chief wants me at the hotel. You'll find us there in case you want it.
Very well. I'll get in touch later then. Good night.
Good night, Weymouth. Come along, Petrie.
Well, Neil, a pleasant little evening. By Jove, old chap, I wish you'd get rid of this chest. It's the key to all our trouble.
And our contact with the enemy, Petrie. No, we'll keep the brass chest for the present.
But you're going to put it in the bank vault, eh?
I'm not quite certain yet just what I'll do with it. I'll know better after we've had it valued tomorrow.
But if it contains Sir Gregory's report, I should think you'd be anxious to turn that over to the India office.
I'm not sure it does contain Sir Gregory's report. At any rate, I'm convinced it holds something else as well. Something of vastly more importance to the Sea-Fan.
Then why not put an end to conjecture, to say nothing of the suspense, and open the thing? It's the only clue to the business that we have. There may be other clues inside.
For the present, Petrie, I have a very definite reason for not opening it. Besides, we haven't the key.
You're keeping something back, Neil, and now what is it?
Bear with me a bit longer, old chap. Meanwhile, if what I suspect is true, any knowledge you might have of the contents of this little brass chest would be extremely dangerous to you.
No more dangerous to me than to you, Naylor. However, if that's what you want. By Jove, I only just recalled it. The man with the limp. I heard him back there in that opium den where you were. You didn't by any chance
see him? I did, Petrie. He was the one who gave me the drug. The man with the limp is Dr. Fu Manchu.
The Shadow of Fu Manchu. The Shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Pax Roma. Seeking a clue to the whereabouts of Nayland Smith, who has been trapped by agents of the Sea-Fan, Dr. Petrie and Detective Sergeant Fletcher have gone to the Joy Shop, a riverfront den patronized by Asiatics. While there, they hear the dragging step of the man with the limp. And later, in a coffin-like box, they discover Nayland Smith. With the help of the police, Smith is rescued, and the brass chest stolen by agents of the Sea-Fan is recovered. Smith astounds Petrie with the statement that the man with the limp is none other than Dr. Fu Manchu himself. We find Smith and Dr. Petrie in their hotel room next morning with Mr. Myers, a buyer of antiques, and Lewison, his assistant. Myers is examining the chest.
This box, Mr. Schmidt, is valuable. I might add that it is unique. What do you think, Lewison?
Quite valuable and unique. An example of the Toulon mirror work, 16th century or even earlier.
Mr. Myers, how does the workmanship on this chest compare with the one in the Hague collection?
It has points of similarity. Sir, I should say the workmanship of this specimen is very much finer. Lewison?
Very much finer, yes.
In a word, then, you'd be prepared to make me a substantial offer for this chest.
Well, I have not yet seen the interior.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have the key.
Coffers of this description, sir, and workmanship are nearly always complicated. Conjuring tricks, if you follow me. They rarely open by such rational means as lock and key.
Exactly, Mr. Schmidt. The current chest in the Hague collection, for instance, opened by an intricate process involving the pressing of certain knobs and designs.
And the turning of others, yes.
The Hague box was ultimately opened by one of Christie's experts.
Pardon me, but wasn't that the chest, the Hague chest, I mean, in the celebrated case of Hague versus Jacob?
Exactly, sir. The original owner, a member of the young husband expedition, had been unable to open the chest. When opened at Christie's, it proved to contain jewels and other valuables.
Have you tried to open the chest, Mr. Smith?
No, not yet.
From its weight, I am inclined to believe that its contents might prove interesting.
With your permission, sir, Mr. Myers will endeavor to open it.
I don't care to have it opened at present.
But you would be foolish, sir, to accept an offer for the chest without knowing what it contains.
I've invited no offer, Mr. Myers. As a matter of fact, I don't wish to sell.
Well, I am a businessman, Mr. Schmidt. I'll make you a business-like proposal. 100 guineas for the box, cash down. And our commission to be 10% on the proceeds of the contents.
You must remember, Mr. Smith, that we may have to force the box in order to open it.
Which would, of course, decrease its market value and make it a bad bargain at 100 guineas.
I'm sorry, gentlemen, but if I place the box on the market, you shall have the first refusal. For the moment, if you'll just send me a note of your fee, I'll be obliged.
But, Mr. Smith, the offer...
Sorry, Mr. Lewison. I'm not prepared to discuss the question any further at present.
I am sorry, sir. Good day, gentlemen.
One moment, Myers. Since you do not intend opening the box, Mr. Smith, have you any idea of its contents?
None, Mr. Lewison. But with my present inadequate knowledge of its history, I wouldn't care to open it.
Very well. You probably know better.
Yes, come, Lewison. Good day, gentlemen.
Good day to you. You see, Petrie? If we're ever short of funds, there's enough on that table to retrieve our depleted fortunes.
They were certainly anxious to get inside the thing.
Naturally. They saw only the intrinsic value.
The manner in which it came into your possession suggests that it might contain something of the utmost value to the Sivan. Fu Manchu. A great mystery, that man. Think what he's gone through. That horrible fire, and still he lives.
Petrie, without a single doubt, the man with the limp and the tapping cane was Fu Manchu.
Nayland, now that the mystery of the absence of a keyhole in that chest is explained, I'm sorely tempted to try to open it. I'm positive it holds the answer to this entire mystery.
And I think otherwise. I have a sort of fancy, superstition if you like, that nothing, not even our miraculous good luck, could save us if we once knew the secret of that chest.
By Jove, Nayland, there are times when you amaze me.
I know. Usually you're the one with the sense for divining Fu Manchu's presence, or one of his agents. Well, that second sight appears to have visited me now, and it directs me to avoid opening that chest.
Well, then, for heaven's sake, man, do something with it. The bank vault is the only logical place for it.
I'll take care of it tomorrow. But now, Weymouth's expecting us at the yard. Get your hat and come along.
Eh? Why, yes, of course. But Weymouth...
Come along, Petrie. You know Weymouth doesn't like to be kept waiting. Hurry, old chap.
Oh, I'm coming. Say, but, Nayland, I didn't know we had an appointment.
We have to have dinner with Weymouth at Gambrina's. Some special event, I believe.
But the chest. You're not going to leave that unguarded.
The elevator's here, Petrie. We must be careful until we're out of the air. Oh, by the way, Petrie, I understand from Sir Basil that Caramel's sailing date has been postponed.
Oh, yes, for a day or so. Something to do with Wilson's not being able to leave as soon as he expected.
I suggest you say nothing about Fu Manchu. It would upset her no end. This way, Petrie.
I say, but aren't we going to take a cab? The yard is
too far to walk, I know, but we're not going to the yard. Nor are we going to meet Weymouth. As a matter of fact, he's back there in the hotel.
Weymouth in the hotel? Great Scott, man, what is this all about?
In here, Petrie. This bookshop will do nicely for a few minutes. Now listen, Petrie. I'm positive that we're being spied upon at the hotel.
Spies in the New Louvre?
Spies of the Sifan, of Fu Manchu, of the Black Poppies. They're among the hotel servants.
Well, you seem positive enough.
Fairly obvious, isn't it? We know that Fu Manchu was at one time in the building. You saw Zuleika there. Wasn't the flower of silence introduced into our room by way of the lighting fixture?
Then why do we remain there?
For the same reason that prompts me to keep the brass chest with me rather than deposit it in some bank vault.
Oh, I begin to understand.
The procedure, of course, is a bit dangerous, but I hope by laying myself open to attack to make an important capture.
Well, you could have told me this back there in the hotel. Why didn't you?
Well, after all, I'm not entitled to expose you, old chap, to these dangers.
Now, that's quite enough, Nathan. I began this thing with you. I shall see it through.
Righto. We'll see it through together, then. And heaven knows where the trail will lead us.
Now, in the first place, since you've left the chests unguarded with Weymouth in the lobby...
Did I say Weymouth was in the lobby? And besides, I locked our door.
Nayland, you surprise me. What is a mere lock where Fu Manchu is concerned?
No one, Petrie, can enter or leave our suite unseen. Weymouth has engaged the room immediately facing our door.
He's up there now?
And for once he has stooped to disguise. Spectacles and a muffler covering his face up to his eyes.
You don't mean that old gentleman we saw hurrying into the room opposite ours as we came out is Weymouth?
The fellow with the huge overcoat and the asthmatic cough? Yes. Mr. John Martin at your service.
I certainly wouldn't have recognized him.
The room has twin beds. Mr. Martin will have a friend join him this evening.
You will be that friend, of course. And what part do I play?
A dangerous one, Petrie. Ostensibly, you and I will leave town this evening. Actually, you'll stay behind. Jim Blake of Scotland Yard will take your place wearing your overcoat at the door of our apartment.
I understand. We shall have 2 watchers outside and 1, myself, in on.
Exactly.
It seems ridiculous to expect a member of the Seafan to attempt anything in a great hotel in the heart of London.
Has Fu Manchu never attempted murder in the heart of London, Petrie?
Well, what's our next move?
We return to the hotel. Once in our room, speak of anything but the matter in hand. I'm positive there's a dictaphone concealed somewhere in that suite. Just where I don't know, but I'll search without result. Come along, Petrie. Do not sleep. Remain awake at all costs. The first disturbance, whatever you may see or hear, call out. And remember, Weymouth and I will be just across the hall. Turn out the light. Slip out of your traveling coat, joining me outside the room. Come along, Petrie. All right, Blake, get the coat. We have barely 5 minutes to catch our train, old chap. As soon as we're out of the hotel, Blake, you go on back to the yard. Tell the chief he'll likely hear from me in the morning.
Hello, Martin, old top. You cough no better? Oh, this beastly London fog of yours races net with my asthma.
Everything went off as planned, Smith.
Everything. One spying on my movements should have been deceived. In Petrie's coat, Blake would easily pass it without me.
Particularly spot for Petrie. We'd best be prepared to move fast.
Yes. Although I gave him the opportunity to withdraw from playing the part of decoy, he insisted on seeing things through. He won't fail us.
I agree with you. The doctor's a bit of all right, Smith. He's strong in it.
Well, I don't think we'll have very long to wait. The agents of the Seafan move quickly, and by prearranged plan. Just how or from which angle they'll strike, I can't say.
Leaving that chest apparently unguarded was a bold step.
Hayden! Hayden, Weymouth!
Come on, Weymouth. The Seafan.
The Shadow of Fu Manchu. The Shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. along with a limp, Nayland Smith has recognized the supposedly dead Dr. Fu Manchu. The brass chest left behind by the murdered Sir Gregory Hale and stolen by agents of the Sea Fund has been recovered and is once more in Smith's possession. Believing the chest to contain something of vital importance to the Oriental group, Nayland Smith has left it apparently unprotected in his hotel. By laying himself open to attack, it is his hope to make an important arrest. Dr. Petrie, however, concealed in the darkened chamber, stands guard over the chest. Smith and Inspector Weymouth, secreted in a nearby suite, awaiting the hoped-for sea-found invader, are suddenly roused by a shot and a cry from Dr. Petrie. We find them rushing across the hall in answer to Petrie's shout.
Hurry, Weymouth. If only they haven't got Petrie. Petrie! Petrie!
On the floor, Nayland. At the foot of the bed.
Light, Weymouth.
Great Scott. How in heaven's name did he get into this room?
Oh, indeed. Get hold of yourself, Petrie, and give me a hand with him. The man's in agony. Here, lift him to the bed.
There's not a mark on him that I can find. Nothing I can do, Nayland. It's obvious that he's dying.
The golden pomegranates. The gold.
Dead. Dead. What a horrible death. Look at those distorted features.
The golden pomegranate. Look here, gentlemen. A blonde wig, false mustache. Do you recognize him now, Petrie?
Great Scott. Lewison. Myers' assistant.
What the devil happened to him? How did he die?
You wouldn't know, Petrie?
No. I can't find a mark of violence on him.
Golden pomegranate.
What could he have meant by that?
By Jove, Nayland. Lewison, an agent of the Sea Fund?
I wonder. Brass chest, golden pomegranate.
What does it mean, Nayland? If we only had the connection.
If we only had. Look around, Weymouth. There may be a clue.
What happened, Petrie? Have you no idea how the fellow got into this room? We were watching the door. He didn't enter that way.
I'm blessed if I can say. After Nayland left me alone, I sat there in the dark. Then I came in here and lay down on the bed. I must have dozed.
Weymouth! Petrie! Come here, quick!
What's wrong?
Quick! Look out the window. The apartment below.
What is it?
You saw nothing?
I had a glimpse of some long, bright object disappearing in the window below this one. You know what it was?
I have a very good idea. Come on, Petrie. You stay here, Weymouth. Don't leave these rooms, whatever happens.
Where are we going?
Up the elevator. The stairs. We've got to get into the rooms below ours. Down here.
What did Lewison mean by the golden pomegranate?
If we get to that apartment in time, we may be on the way to finding out. Here's the door.
Well, what do you want? What? How dare you?
Stand back, madam. There. Close the door, Petrie.
Right.
Now you sit down, madam. I see we're about to leave the room. Please raise your veil.
Oh, well. I suppose you gentlemen are the police.
Oh, look, Petrie. The window. Wide open. You see that contrivance on the floor? Probably made of aluminum.
Huh? What is the thing, Nayland?
Pull off that top section.
By Jove. A telescopic ladder.
Ingenious, eh? That clamp at the base. Those two hooks at the top are for reaching windows on an upper floor. That's what you saw disappearing down the wall. The lady here pulled it back in the room when her accomplice failed to return.
I've never seen anything like this. Yes, it is ingenious.
It's an American device. Forms part of the equipment of the modern hotel thief. Fold it up, it fits in that large bag there. Did you find anything else of interest?
No, nothing but some articles of clothing.
Oh, blast it, I'm disappointed. However, who are you, madam? What business have you with the Sea Fan?
The Sea Fan? I don't know what you mean.
Oh, come. To whom were you to deliver the brass chest?
Oh, who are you and what are you talking about?
Now, please, madam, don't evade the question. You are an agent of the Sea Fan or a servant of Dr. Fu Manchu.
I still don't know what you're talking about. Oh, well. Oh, Lou and I failed, I know it, but I'm not complaining. It's all in the game.
Explain yourself. Who is Lou?
Lewison.
Oh.
The brakes are just against us. Oh, I'm sorry I told him that I'd talk to him into it. He's never done anything like this before, and he never would have done it if he hadn't met me.
Oh, you're an American?
Yes. But I've been in England a long time. You don't seem to know me, but they all do. At Bow Street Station. I've been up before.
But the brass chest? How did you find out about it?
He told me about it at lunch today. He said that if it held as much as a Hague chest,
We could sail for America and go straight the rest of our lives.
So you urged him into it, eh?
Yeah. Oh. It's my fault. Arrest me if you like, but leave him alone. He's not to blame.
False scent, Nealon.
Utterly false. He couldn't have had anything to do with the sea found.
The supposed treasure in the chest led him to make the attempt with the assistance of this lady. But what caused his death?
His death? Oh, you don't mean he's dead.
Quite dead, madam. Well, it's my duty to turn you over to the police. But I'm going to give you a chance. You have just 15 minutes to get your belongings together and leave.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm going to send the police to this room in half an hour. I suggest that you return to America at your first opportunity. Come, Petrie. We'll go back upstairs. You asked me how he died, Petrie. I believe I know. He gasped out the golden pomegranates, didn't he?
Yes, he did. But they must have been words of delirium and can't possibly have any bearing on the manner of his death.
I disagree with you there, old chap. Come on, we'll open the chest.
What do you...
Yes, I'm going to try to open it for a reason which I hope will become very evident.
But why is this sudden change of mind?
Because unless I'm greatly mistaken, the wily John Key, who was supposedly trying to make off with it, is infinitely more clever than we've given him credit for being.
Ah, yes, I think I understand. He waited for my men to catch him with the chest, knowing it would go back to you.
Exactly, Weymouth. But the manner of Lewison's death has given me a clue. Now, let's see. The knobs of this vast design to be pushed, pulled, or turned, eh? Sit down, gentlemen. This is going to be a lengthy task.
2 hours he's been at it without success. Steel pinch bar would have opened it in 3 minutes.
And ruined the chest, Weymouth.
Yes.
However, we may have to resort to the bar.
Ah! I found the combination. Oh, now look. Before I raise the lid, don't under any condition reach into that box. You understand?
Very well, then.
By Jove, look. Fastened to that inner lid. The golden pomegranate.
Yes, the golden pomegranates. They form the knobs or handles to that second lid. Beautifully carved, eh?
And there's a hollow in each one to accommodate the fingers. Open it, Nealon.
Presently. First, though, I want you both to come into the other room with me. We'll have another look at Lewis. Examine his fingertips, Petrie.
Ah, badly swollen, eh, Doctor?
Yes. Look here. The index finger of both hands, oddly discolored, as though bruised from the nail up. When I first examined him, I took this discoloration to be the effects of some sort of acid.
So did I. Antique dealers, in some cases, use acid to distinguish the real from the imitation.
Now, back to the chest. I don't suppose either of you has a pocket knife containing a hook?
No, but these handcuffs here, how'll they do?
Better still. We'll open them as wide as possible and drop the 2 steel points in the hollows of the pomegranates. Like that. Now, we'll lift. Hear that?
But the contents...
3 long bars of lead. And nothing else.
And Sir Gregory's report?
Contained in his diary, probably, which we still have to find. Move that lamp over here, Weymouth.
Right.
Now look into the 2 cavities where one is expected to put his fingers.
Great Scott. So that's what killed Lewis.
You see? In each cavity, the point of a steel needle. Those needles are now pressing against the points of the handcuffs.
As they would against fingers inserted into those cavities.
Of course. Those needles work in a groove. They are caused to protrude when the inner lid is raised. See that metal cup? Communicating to the base of the needles?
By Jove, yes. The action of lifting the lid not only protrudes the points, but also operates a hypodermic syringe.
And no doubt the poison in that hypodermic was concocted by our friend Dr. Fu Manchu.
By the great Robbie Burns.
Oh, Petrie, just what happened after I left you alone this evening?
Well, as I told Weymouth, I sat up here beside the table in the dark for perhaps an hour. The room became cold, and I went to lie down on the bed. I certainly had no intention of dropping off to sleep. I must have done so.
And I warned you above all else not to go to sleep.
Unfortunately, I did. It was late, and I had no idea an intruder would enter by the window, if at all. It was to be expected anyone would try to enter by the door.
And so you thought that Weymouth and I being on the watch, we'd of course catch him?
Yes. I don't know how long I dozed. It couldn't have been very long, but the shaking of the bed awoke me. I don't believe I shall ever forget what I saw leaning over the foot of that bed.
Oh, come, get to the point, Petrie. It was Lewison, of course.
But a more inhuman, distorted face I had never seen. It gibbered at me crazily. His trembling hands grasped the bed rail, caused the bed to shake and rattle.
Lewison was in agony and probably trying to get your help. He knew you were a doctor.
Yes. He staggered round the foot of the bed, whispering something unintelligible. I fired as a signal. Then he fell to the floor.
Heaven forgive the poor devil. He died in my stead. Now, Petrie, Dr. Fu Manchu will stop at nothing.
The shadow of Fu Manchu.
Hi, this is Greg from An Evening of Old Time Radio. Hope you're enjoying the video and the old time radio shows. If you're watching this on any other channel than An Evening of Old Time Radio, you should be aware that the channel owner has stolen this audio track from one of my videos and uploaded it with a different background as if it were their own. Again, this video and this audio is from my channel, An Evening of Old Time Radio. On with the show. This is Greg Fordyce from An Evening of Old Time Radio. Thank you so much for listening and watching and enjoying the video. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you did. It really helps the channel out. And again, if you're seeing this video on any other channel than An Evening of Old Time Radio, there are no numbers in my channel's URL name, then you are watching a pirated copy of my video where the thief has stolen my audio track and republished it with a different background on their channel. Thanks again for all of your support.
The shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Rohmer. When Lewison, a dealer in antiques, attempts the theft of the brass chest and dies, Nayland Smith realizes that the sea fun has left him in possession of the chest, expecting him to open it and meet his death through the medium of the poison needle. With the secret of the chest exposed, its usefulness to the sea fun and Dr. Fu Manchu as an instrument of murder has ended. Nayland Smith and Dr. Petrie have returned to their old quarters in Baker Street. We find Dr. Petrie and Sir Graham Guthrie, erstwhile victim of Dr. Fu Manchu, discussing past events in the doctor's study. It is 9 o'clock in the evening.
Have you any idea, Dr. Petrie, when Mr. Smith will return?
Not definitely, Sir Graham. He's been away the past 3 days, working on something alone at the moment.
Still on this Fu Manchu business, I suppose.
Well, frankly, Sir Graham, I'd rather not speak of it. After all, it's Smith's affair and all that, you know.
Of course, quite so. By the way, wasn't there a young woman connected with Dr. Fu Manchu?
You mean Catamir? Yes, she was. However, she's broken her connections with the doctor and is by this time well on her way to Egypt.
Pardon the undue interest, Dr. Petrie, but if I remember rightly, you were interested in the young lady.
More than I realized, Sir Graham.
I never met her, but from your account and from others, I understood she was quite unusually...
She's very beautiful.
Yes.
Her circumstances beyond her ability to cope with forced her into the service of Fu Manchu.
Quite so, yes, so I understood. And this young lady, you say, has sailed for Egypt?
A fortnight ago.
You couldn't be mistaken, Doctor.
Mistaken? Oh, no, indeed. Smith and I saw her off at the dock.
Odd. I wonder if he could have been mistaken.
What was that, Sir Graham?
Oh, nothing really. I was merely... Oh, by the way, have you ever heard the name Yen Sun Yat?
Yen Sun Yat? Seems to me I have. Wasn't he the Mandarin who warned the Reverend Eltham not to return to the Orient? Oh, but you wouldn't know of that, of course.
I do happen to know quite a bit about the case. Eltham was a very close friend of mine. Spent a great deal of time together in China in the old days before I was transferred to Bhutan, my present post, when I'm on duty.
Then you know Yen Sun Yat?
Very well indeed. He's quite a power in the interior of China. Just what his connections are, I've never been quite able to determine.
He is, however, tremendously influential in certain sections, particularly Kiangsu province.
I believe Nayland mentioned him once or twice as being connected with a certain movement in the East.
Mr. Smith knows, of course, that Yen Sun Yat landed in this country a week ago en route to the continent.
Well, he hasn't spoken of it.
Oh, apropos of Yen Sun Yat's arrival. We were together for several hours before he left for Berlin. He recounted to me something that had happened at sea a day or so before his landing.
Yes, Sir Graham?
A transfer from ship to ship of a passenger. 2 passengers, in fact. A young woman and,
pardon me, Sir Graham.
Oh.
Hello. This is Dr. Petrie speaking. Mrs. Hewitt. Oh, very well. I'll be there immediately.
Something...
one of my patients, Sir Graham. Rather urgent. I'll have to run around. Make yourself at home. I'll be back at once.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Doctor. Why, I may be gone when you return. My car should be here in a few moments.
Don't hurry. I'll be back in no time, Sir Graham.
Oh, Dr. Petrie. Why, we didn't expect you. Mrs. Hewitt's asleep. She's feeling much better.
Eh? Asleep, you say, Anna? She's better than it. Why, she or someone phoned asking me to come over at once.
Well, not from here, Doctor. Our telephone's been cut off since Mrs. Hewitt took sick. The ringing disturbed her.
Someone used an outside phone, perhaps.
No one from here, sir. Everyone's in bed. I was just going up myself.
Oh. Very well, Anna. Good night.
Good night, sir. I'm sorry if someone made a mistake.
Mistake? I wonder. A car waiting in front of my place. Probably Sir Graham. I say, old man. You're waiting for Sir Graham Guthrie?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll tell him. Well, Nayland, old chap.
Hello, Petrie.
Well, I'm glad you're back. Missed you. Oh, where's Guthrie?
Guthrie? Sir Graham Guthrie? Is he here?
Oh, I left him not 10 minutes ago.
Here in this room? Great Scott, Petrie.
Why, what's the matter? Good heavens, Nayland, you don't mean...
Yes, Fu Manchu, Petrie. He's once more turned his attention to Sir Graham Guthrie. Come on, man. We've got to hurry if we want to save him. That car.
Sir Graham's. It drove up as I came in.
You're Sir Graham Guthrie, chauffeur?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been here?
Only a moment, sir. I drove up as the gentleman went in.
There was no other car as you drove up?
The black sedan pulled out, sir, as I turned to the street.
Did you see which way it went?
Why, it turned off, sir. 2 squares down, just this moment.
Can you overtake it?
I can try, sir. But Sir Graham Guthrie...
He's in that car, kidnapped.
Get in, sir. I'll do my best.
That telephone call, Petrie, was a trick to get you away from Guthrie. I got wind of it up country. Fu Manchu's been ordered to get Sir Graham Guthrie.
Ordered to get him? Why?
For questioning. Somewhere there's a leakage of information in the Oriental group. They've got to stop it.
They? You mean the Sifan?
Of course, the Sifan, the Black Poppies, Fu Manchu. They're one and the same, working together as a whole. Dr. Fu's been instructed to question Sir Graham.
I think that's the car, sir. That flashing tail light.
They're headed for Battersea.
The Thames on our right. His rat hole's on the river, as usual.
The car pulled in, sir, into that next street. It ends at the river. They'll have to come back.
Stop here. Drive back to the last turning, driver, and wait there, out of sight. Bring the car up when you hear a police whistle.
Right, sir.
Come, Petrie. We must get to that corner and see where their car stops without showing ourselves. By Jove, they're backing out. We've got to get out of sight before they turn the corner.
Well, there's no place to hide.
Here. This gate in the wall. Over. Quick. Down, Petrie. Stay there until they pass.
Close thing, Nayland. How do we know we followed the right car?
Would any ordinary man be motoring in this spot at midnight?
Right. Shall we get back into the street now?
Not yet. I have an idea. Look over there.
The door. It will probably open onto the wharf gate of this place.
Let's see. Right, Petrie. That turning leads to the gate. Come on.
Wait. That old building over there, across the court. A window. Look. By Jove, just lighted up from inside. They must have gone in there.
That door in the back of the room opening.
Good heavens. It's Caramel.
Steady, old chap. I knew, but hadn't the heart to tell you. He has her under his control again. Had her transferred from ship to ship at sea.
Now I understand what Sir Graham was trying to tell me. I didn't pay much attention. Nayland, what power has that man over Caramel?
Oh, who knows? After all, Petrie, she's only a woman. Women are the same. Charing Cross to Pagoda Road. She's gone back out of the room. Come along, old chap. Of course. We'll have to risk the other windows. Come. You're not going to try anything alone against him. Guthrie's in that house, Petrie. He's been brought here to be put to the question. Put to the question? In the medieval and the oriental sense, Petrie, if you understand what I mean. We have no time to seek help. You have your pistol. Follow closely and quietly. There must be a door. Oh, here it is. An outer room. Dark. Come on. Got your gun ready? You may have to shoot. Yes. I'm thinking of Caramel. I hope to meet it.
Nothing, Eugene. There's nothing to say.
It's Guthrie. They're torturing him.
Oh, no. No, not that. Not the jacket.
Good heavens, he's got poor Graham in one of those devilish contrivances. Stand back, Petrie. Leave this to me. Man, we can't quiet. Someone coming. The door, Petrie, close it. I've got her. It's Caramel. Get my flash. In my pocket.
All right.
Now, cord in my right hand pocket. Tie her wrist. She mustn't get loose.
All right, Nayland. All right, there. There, she's fastened.
We'll have to gag her.
Nayland, I can't do that.
Oh, no, please. Do not be cruel to me. Everyone here is cruel to me. I promise to be quiet.
Academy, we would have believed you once. We cannot now.
You know my name. Yet I have never seen you in my life. Who are you?
Good heavens. What has that fiend done to her?
See if that door locks, Petrie.
Yes. You're going to leave her?
Temporarily, yes. We'll get her when we come back. Come along. Lock it and bring the key. Then follow quickly. There. Light showing under that door. It is torture chamber. Great Scott, listen.
To tell me the name of your correspondent in Jiangsu. I suggest that it may be the Mandarin, Yen Sun Yat. You will not confirm that.
No. There's no one.
I know that some high official is a traitor.
No.
Must I report again to the question to learn his name?
No, I don't know.
Very well. Arthur, tighten the jacket. A little more.
No!
Perhaps then...
Come on, Petrie.
Stab him!
The arm nailed! Look out! The knife!
The Shadow of Fu Manchu. The Shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. A telephone call, presumably from a nearby patient, interrupts the conversation between Dr. Petrie and Sir Graham Guthrie. Dr. Petrie leaves his visitor asking him to wait his return. The phone call proves to be false. And on his return home, Dr. Petrie finds Nayland Smith awaiting him. Sir Graham has vanished. Smith is convinced the phone call was a trick to get Dr. Petrie away, while agents of Fu Manchu kidnapped Graham Guthrie. In a limousine, they follow the kidnapped car to a deserted warehouse, where they discover Sir Graham being tortured by Fu Manchu. They also find Karame, whom they thought safely on the way to Egypt. Breaking into the torture chamber, Smith kills one of Fu Manchu's henchmen, while Petrie turns to help Sir Graham.
Steady, Sir Graham. I'll have you out of this thing in a moment.
Oh, thank heaven, Petrie. Unscrew the beastly thing. I was very near to weakening. Oh.
He's fainted, Nayland.
Good job he has. I wonder the thing didn't kill him. That fiendish contrivance has torn his flesh. Where is Fu Manchu?
Scott, he's gotten out. He must have slipped past you.
With only the one door and no windows in the place? No, Petrie, he wasn't in here.
He must have been. I heard him plainly. His voice came from this room.
Well, look for yourself. Not a stick of furniture, no place for him to conceal himself. No trapdoors.
It's uncanny, Nayland. With all his power, his knowledge of science and chemistry, he can't make himself invisible.
By Jove. Stay with Sir Graham. I'll be back in a moment.
Oh, no. No, I know nothing. Nothing.
Steady on, Sir Graham. It's all over. Here, drink this.
Thanks, Petrie. He got away?
I'm afraid so. Now lie still. You're in pretty bad shape.
No, I'm all right. It was a near thing, though. Smith, where's he?
In another part of the building, searching for Fu Manchu. I understand now, Sir Graham, what you were trying to tell me back in my office about Academy.
It was difficult, Petrie. Yet had it not been for that call for you, I should have gotten it out somehow.
Blasted Petrie, they've gone.
Academy?
The room where we left her is deserted. Either with or against her will, she went with him. Sir Graham, was Fu Manchu in this room with you?
No. No one but that devil on the floor there twisted the screws on this fiendish contrivance. His wired jacket, Fu Manchu called it.
You didn't see him at any time? Not while he was questioning you?
No, I heard only his voice. Seemed to come from that side of the room.
Oh. Over here?
Yes. That wall. I heard...
Oh. No wonder you didn't see him. There's a screen in the wall. He stood in the room beyond and spoke through it. God, to have missed him by so little.
That's odd. Why wasn't he in the room with Sir Graham?
Obvious, Petrie. Think. He'd evidently promised Sir Graham his freedom, his life, if he'd divulged the name of his correspondent. Right, Sir Graham?
Yes, that's quite true.
And he'd have kept his word. It's a sidelight on his character, Petrie. You've never seen Fu Manchu, Sir Graham?
Never. I'm almost positive I've heard his voice, or one very like it, somewhere in the past. That strange intonation, that cultured diction. But for the life of me, I can't place it.
I thought so. You see, Petrie? Sir Graham knows certain parts of the Orient better than you and I know Piccadilly. Probably if he saw Fu Manchu, he'd recognize him for whom he really is. It's quite obvious the doctor wished to avoid such recognition.
Of course. Therefore, the screen.
Exactly. Well, Petrie, it's another defeat for us. The shadow of Fu Manchu still hovers over London. You taking care of Sir Graham?
He's in the West End Hospital. The lacerations and cuts are painful, but he'll be all right in a day or two.
I'll make arrangements to guard the place. I can't have Guthrie falling into Fu Manchu's hands again. Heaven help him if he does.
But Yen Sun Yat, you don't know him, Nayland?
By name only. He's a power in the Central Orient. Once or twice, I've run across evidences of that power. He is one of the 7. The Black Poppy's inner circle.
Not another Fu Manchu.
Oh, no. Although he probably ranks high among the heads of the Oriental group, he's far from being the cold-blooded killer that Dr. Fu is.
Guthrie spoke as if Yen Sun Yat were an intimate friend of his. So did Eltham.
Yes. I'd like to know what he's doing in Berlin, though. I think I'd better get in touch with von Kramer.
Von Kramer?
A member of the German Secret Service.
Oh.
An excellent operative and one of my few friends. We've worked together in the East on several occasions.
I see. You haven't been able to find any clue as to the whereabouts of Academy?
When we locate Fu Manchu, old chap, we shall have found Academy. Needless to say, I'm making every effort to... Oh, now what's up at this time of night? It's after 11.
Well, I'll answer the door.
I'll go to my bedroom in case it's someone for you.
I'm sorry, Dr. Petrie, to be calling at this time of night.
Oh, Forsyth. Come in, man, come in.
I
I saw a light in your study and thought you might be up. My ship docked late and I couldn't get here sooner.
That's perfectly all right. What's the trouble?
My hand. I'd like you to have a look at it. I cut it rather badly on the run-in from the Orient. No physician aboard a freighter, you know.
Now, let's see. That looks bad, Forsyth. Signs of poisoning. Now, sit down there. Have it treated in a moment.
Thank you, sir.
There we are. When do you sail again?
A week from tomorrow.
Well, I'd like to come in once or twice. I want to look at this hand.
Thanks, Doctor. Yes, I'll manage to drop in before we sail.
Jove, that's strange.
What's strange? I've been seeing you for a year or two off and on, but you've never stared at me in this fashion. Anything wrong?
Oh, no, nothing, old chap. I was merely thinking of your uncanny resemblance to a friend of mine. If you had lighter hair and a mustache, you'd be the perfect image of my friend Smith. Features, build, even to your walk.
I've heard we all have our doubles, Doctor.
Yeah. Well, there you are. That'll do for tonight.
Thanks. Well, I'll be running on. I'll manage to run in a couple of times before the end of the week.
Yes, do that. And use that hand as little as possible for the next few days.
Right. Good night, Doctor.
Good night, Forsyth. Jove, that's certainly amazing. Why, Nayland, why the deuce are you sitting in a dark room?
Come here and watch.
Huh. What is it?
I don't know. Watch that clump of elms over there in the park.
Oh, where's your patient?
Eh? Oh, why, he must be... Oh, there he is, standing at the gate.
Don't lean out of the window.
Oh, for heaven's sake, why not?
I'll tell you presently. You saw him?
Yes, I can't make out what he's doing. He's standing there at the gate.
He's seen it, too. Watch those elms. Ah, there it is again. See it?
That's strange. You mean that vaporous blue light close to the ground?
Yes. Look how it flares up. Now it's rising higher. There. Died away again. I've been watching it for some time.
Ghostly looking. What is it?
Don't ask me, old man. I don't know. Oh, there goes your patient, crossing the road. He's going to investigate. We must stop him, Petrie.
Well, I'll call him.
Not a sound. Come along. We'll catch up with him. Out through the side entrance. Hurry. Now, we mustn't appear to have come from this house. So don't cross the road directly. I'll go up there and cross. You go below. Out of the light of the street lamp. Cross then and run for those elms.
Wonder what that glow could be. Nayland! Smith! Great Scott, where are you?
Help!
Great heavens! Nayland!
Here, Petrie. I'm coming. Tell me, that poor devil. Is he dead?
Yes, I'm afraid so, Nayland.
This sailor's met the death designed for me, Petrie. See, in build, even his walk, he resembled me.
Great Scott! I told him that not 5 minutes ago.
Here, turn him over on his back. I'll look him over. I'll hold the flash.
Good heaven. Look at his face.
Yes, those wounds, irregular, in small clusters, as if made by the claws of a bird.
Horrible deep scratches, like tattoo marks. The injured surface is bloated. It's poison, Nayland.
Yeah. What's going on here? What have you devils done? By the saints, I'll...
Drop that whistle. Flash your lantern here and don't ask foolish questions. Now read this. If you have any further doubts, you may call Inspector Weymouth of Scotland Yard from this gentleman's house.
Oh, I'm sorry, Inspector. I didn't know.
It's all right. Help us carry him. We'll keep out of the light, Petrie, and Constable, this mustn't get into the press, you understand?
I understand, sir. Mum's the word.
We'll take him to the house. Now, let's get along with it.
On the surgery table, Constable.
Right, sir.
Make a thorough examination, Petrie. You, Constable, phone for an ambulance as quickly as possible.
Yes, sir.
Nayland, you're not going out there again?
Yes, I'll be all right. I'm taking the flash. The constable's lantern, too. Keep him here until I return.
Take the constable with you, man. There's something out there.
No, he'll only be in the way. Oh, Constable, remain here with Dr. Petrie. Until the ambulance arrives, anyway. I'm taking your lantern with me.
Right, sir.
Turn on that light over the table, please.
Yes, sir. Hey, the saints, sir. The poor devil looks as if he'd struck his head in a meat grinder. How are them cuts made?
Scratches of some sort. Form of elongated punctures. Clusters, pear-shaped.
How did it happen, sir? Did he say anything?
Only a cry for help. Tried to speak. The muscles of articulation must have been affected almost instantly. By Jove, the sea fan, the poisoned flower.
What's that, sir? A flower? What's the sea fan?
Oh, nothing, Constable, nothing. Lower that light a bit more, will you? Then hand me the box of cotton.
How's that, sir? Doctor, look at the window there. Hey, what are you doing out there?
Look out, Ben! Down on the floor!
The Shadow of Fu Manchu. The Shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. Following the rescue of Sir Graham Guthrie from Fu Manchu's torture chamber, and the discovery that Karame is again under the dominating influence of the doctor, Nayland Smith and Dr. Petrie, from their Baker Street windows, have seen a ghostly blue light appear in the night among the trees of the parkway across the road. Forsyth, a patient of Dr. Petrie's, who has just left the doctor, has seen it also, and has crossed the road to investigate. Before Smith can stop him, Forsyth has disappeared among the trees, and a few moments later is found dead. Smith is convinced that because of Forsyth's resemblance to himself, the man is unconsciously walked into a death trap set for Smith by Fu Manchu. Assisted by a constable, they carry Forsyth's body to Dr. Petrie's office. And as Smith returns to the parkway for further investigations, Petrie begins his examination of the body of his late patient. Intent upon his work, he does not see a leering face peering into the window. A moment later, the tinkle of glass is followed by a dull explosion.
Door, Constable! Make for the door!
A bomb! They tossed a bomb through the window.
The door, quick!
Gas! Poison! I can't see.
This way, here. I'll help you. Here, into the bedroom. I'll open the window. You'll be all right in a moment.
By the saints! What's going on here? Dead men? Poison gas?
Never mind that now. Stand here by the window. Breathe deeply. Oh, thank heaven we got out of there in time.
Amen to that, sir. I never smelt such stinking stuff.
Petrie! In here, Nayland. The bedroom. Don't go into the study.
What is it, Petrie? What's wrong?
Somebody tossed a gas bomb through the study window.
Great Scott, was it?
Must have been. The devil. He's gone back to using the green mist. We barely got out in time. Well, I think we can safely go into the study now. We'll open the windows and clear that stuff out before the police arrive.
Not a word about this, Constable. To anyone, you understand?
I'll have to turn in my report, sir.
Then turn in your report directly to Inspector Weymouth, not through the regular channels. Let him handle it at the yard.
Very well, sir.
How is it, Petrie? Has it cleared away?
Pretty well clear. I have all the windows open. Still quite an odor. What a night.
That's all, Constable. You can return now to Scotland Yard. Petrie, there are one or two things I'll want from your kitchen. Some milk, a bit of that fish left over from supper this evening, and a trowel.
What in the name of common sense? Oh, you're joking now.
By no means. I'm going across to the park. I haven't finished out there yet. It's very close to dawn, so I suggest you waken Mrs. McGregor. I shall want you both to watch from the windows. If anyone starts across the street, warn me with your flashlight.
Well, hadn't I better go with you?
Now, look, old chap, I'm not trying to mystify you, but the presence of anyone might ruin my plans. I won't be long.
All right. I'll waken Mrs. McGregor. I'm sorry, Mrs. McGregor, to waken you so early, but do you mind dressing as quickly as you can and coming down to the study? And hurry, please.
I'll be right soon, Doctor.
I wonder what Smith's looking for out there. I should have insisted on going with him. Why the milk and fish and the trowel? There's that flashlight.
No, what is it, Doctor? I didn't take the time to dress properly.
Well, you can do that later, Mrs. McGregor. I just want you to sit here and watch that clump of elms across there. Now, if anyone should... Jove, there's a taxi stopping at the far side. Someone getting out.
She's a woman. And what would she be doing striking off across the park at this time of the morning?
Stay right where you are, Mrs. McGregor, right here at this window. If anyone else starts across, turn the light on and off 3 times. Good morning. Can I help you, madam? Why, Caname! Why, this net is for snaring birds. What are you doing with it? Here, at this time of the day. And in those filthy clothes.
I do not know.
No. I don't suppose you know me. It's very convenient to forget sometimes, isn't it? Now, what were you about to do with this net? Well?
You seem to be angry with me. Not because of what I'm doing, but because I do not remember you. Yes.
Now, don't bother to revert to the matter. You've chosen to forget that once we were friends. Now, please yourself. But answer my question.
Why do you treat me so? What have I done? I do not understand your reproaches that I forget you. I tell you again that until you came one night last week to rescue someone from him, I had never seen you.
A fine story. You betray those who are mad enough to trust you. If you think it will pay you better to serve Fu Manchu than to remain true to your friends, that's your affair. Your slavery, for I take it you're posing as a slave again, is evidently not very harsh. You lure men to their destruction, and in return, Fu Manchu loads you with gifts.
So he loads me with gifts. Well, these are some of the gifts that he lavishes upon me. Look, my shoulder.
Good heavens. The marks of a lash. Why do you serve this monster?
Why do you question me if you think that everything I say is a lie?
What have you come here to do?
To catch birds? You have said so yourself.
What bird? By Jove, the hoot of an owl. So, that's it, eh? All right, Caname. I'm taking you to my house now.
No, you will catch me first.
Here now, wait. Oh, the devil, I haven't the heart.
I say, Petrie!
Oh, yes, here, Nayland. Where are you?
Back here, among the trees. Just a moment. Didn't I hear you talk? Hello, what's this?
A bird net.
So I see. But where did you find it?
I didn't exactly find it. Caname had it and left it.
Caname? Was she here?
Yes. As you can see her getting into that taxi on the far side of the park.
My dear Petrie, you're an imbecile. Carame's a beautiful toy, I grant you, but so is a cobra. Neither makes a good playfellow.
Oh, now drop that, Nayland. I can't listen to you.
You must listen. You're not only playing with a girl who's the favorite of an Oriental Nero, but with my life.
Now, just a moment.
I know she's utterly false, yet a glance from those dark eyes of hers makes a fool of you.
Now, Nayland,
Wait. If you're determined to go to pieces over her, the result is going to mean success for Fu Manchu. And you know it.
Now, isn't that a bit...
Now, look. An attempt is made on my life, resulting in the death of an innocent man. Then you come along and let the murderer's accomplice escape, merely because she's beautiful.
Well, I'm sorry, Nayland.
Well, forget it. Now, this wicker basket. Was it Caramel's?
Yes. It contained the net and...
This little parcel? Now, here. Smell it. Do you recognize the odor?
Well, yes, of course. It's valerian.
Yes. Then you have an idea of what Caramel's up to?
No, not the slightest.
I see. Come along, then. I've set things for a visit we shall make to this grove of trees tonight. I hope to trap something interesting. At midnight, we'll stand in the shadows of your street entrance. There it is, Petrie. What time is it?
1:30.
Yes, I see it. Under the trees. You have your pistol and flashlight? Come along, then. I knew he'd make another attempt tonight. Now, if the clouds will only hold off for a little, I'll show you something interesting.
Do we make directly for the trees?
Yes. Quietly, but as quickly as possible.
What do you expect to find, Nayland?
Something from the menagerie of Fu Manchu. Here. Wait. Now, give me about 20-yard start, or no attempt will be made. But the instant I'm under those trees, join me.
All right, Nayland. Be careful, Nayland.
All right, Petrie. Come on. Hurry. Not so close, Petrie. Stand back. Back. Don't stand under that tree and don't look up.
Great Scott! It's an owl.
No. Look out, man. Jump. Got him.
Good Lord. What is it?
Come here, look. Another of Fu Manchu's savages.
Huh?
Another dacoit. Well, the pagan gods fight on our side, Petrie. Elms have a dangerous habit of shedding limbs in still weather, particularly after a storm.
Huh? But where the devil was he, Nayland?
In that tree, lying along the bough which fell. That's why I found no footprints. Last night he probably escaped by swinging from bough to bough, ape fashion.
Yes, but how could he have made those odd scratches we found on Forsyth's face and neck?
Oh, he didn't do it, Petrie. It was something he carried with him in that leather bag over his shoulders.
Oh? An owl?
No, not an owl. He uttered that call himself.
Huh?
Well, we still have something to do, old chap. We must find... There. See it? Out there in the moonlight. Great Scott, it's coming directly for us. Shoot, man, shoot!
The Shadow of Fu Manchu. The Shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. While Nayland Smith and Dr. Petrie are seeking a clue to the death of Forsyth among the trees in the park opposite Dr. Petrie's house, The doctor becomes separated from Smith and stumbles upon Karame. The girl seems to have completely forgotten her former association with Dr. Petrie, and he allows her to escape. Later that night, on seeing the ghostly blue light which lured Forsyth to his death, Smith and Dr. Petrie return to the park, hoping to trap Forsyth's murderer. The limb of a tree under which they stand breaks off and crashes to the ground at their feet. Clinging to the broken limb is a dacoit. Before he can use the knife clasped in his hand, Smith kills him with a bullet from his gun. Then, as they stand looking at the dacoit, a small black animal leaps toward them from the nearby underbrush. Petrie fires, there is a weird howl, and then...
I got it. Why, here it is. Nailing. It's nothing but a large black cat.
So it is, Petrie. You remember the little parcel we found in that basket of Karame's?
Yes, it contained valerian.
Yes. And you know as well as I do that a cat will go through fire and water for valerian. However, that's what the milk and fish were for.
To capture this animal?
Well, not this one, Petrie. The one used last night on Forsyth. I'd recognize the prints under the trees for those of a cat.
And you believed if the animal had been released here, it would still be somewhere in the neighborhood?
Yes. I located it finally and laid my trap for the milk and fish. Then I killed it. I had to. And buried it.
Well, why bury it then?
Well, look. The claws of this one are sheathed now, but if you could examine them, you'd find them coated with a shiny black substance. Only Fu Manchu knows what that substance is, Petrie. But we know what it can do.
But the blue light, now what caused that?
A length of tape soaked in spirits. The tape was thrown over the limb of a tree and lighted near the ground. The flame rose and went out when it reached the upper end of the tape in the top of the tree. I found an unburnt end last night.
Poison-coated claws of a cat killed Forsyth.
Yes. The dacoit used the blue light as a lure.
By Jove, Nayland. Only one man could plan that. Fu Manchu.
Suppose we say then, Mr. Slade, £1,000 if you show us the hiding place of Fu Manchu.
And the payment, Mr. Smith?
To be in no way subject to whether we profit by your information or not.
A little agreement in black and white.
Oh, of course. A sheet of paper, Petrie.
The upper right-hand drawer, Nayland. Help yourself. That's quite an interesting cane you have, Mr. Slade. Curio?
Oh, this. It comes from Australia, Doctor. Aboriginal carving. It was given to me by a client.
Oh, I thought it was Indian work.
Oh, everyone does. No, it's Australian work. It's my mascot.
So?
Yes. Its former owner ascribed magical powers to it. In fact, I believe he thought it to be one of those staves mentioned in the Bible.
Here's your paper, Slade.
Oh, thank you.
You mean Aaron's rod, that cane?
Yes, something of the sort, I believe. Now, gentlemen, I'll run along.
You'll phone us then?
You'll hear from me tomorrow.
Mrs. McGregor will show you out.
Thank you. Good day, gentlemen.
Considering the importance of his proposal, Nayland, you weren't very cordial to our visitor.
Oh, I hate having any relations with him at all. But I suppose we shouldn't be squeamish about the instruments we use in dealing with Fu Manchu.
Well, who or what is he?
A private inquiry agent with a rotten reputation. He's little better than a blackmailer.
How do you know?
I looked up his record at the yard yesterday. Quite interesting.
Oh, how so?
Well, I knew that for some reason he was taking an interest in this case. Quite an undue interest, as a matter of fact. Very likely he's established some sort of contact with the Black Poppy Society. I'm only wondering if by any chance he could be...
You don't think he may be a creature of Fu Manchu?
Why not? If it paid him well, he'd serve the doctor as readily as anyone else. His record's about as black as it could be.
As bad as that, eh?
Oh, yes. Slade's an assumed name, of course. As Lieutenant Pedley of the New York police, he was kicked out because of his complicity in something rotten in a New York Chinatown case.
Chinatown? Ah, that's significant, eh?
So I thought. He's undoubtedly a clever scoundrel.
And knowing that, you'll keep any appointment he suggests?
Why, certainly. But we'll not wait until tomorrow. I propose to pay a little informal visit to Mr. Alfred Slade this very night.
Tonight? At his office?
At his home, Petrie. If his object is to draw us into some trap, he'll probably report his progress to his employer tonight.
Why, then we should have followed him.
Oh, he's being followed, Petrie. 2 CID men have been watching him. And his house.
Oh, I should have known you wouldn't miss having that taken care of. Oh, by the way, I saw Sir Graham this morning. He'll be out of the hospital presently. What are you going to do with him, Nayland?
Well, there's no further cause for alarm on his account. His life is no longer in danger.
No longer in danger? Why, I thought that he...
received a letter yesterday. It bore a London postmark.
Sent from London, eh? Well, what was it?
Well, as near as I can remember, the translation was to the effect that Graham's former correspondent had been a high official in the Oriental Group, but had been recently discovered to be a traitor. So he was executed 4 days ago. The letter went on to wish Graham a speedy recovery and was signed Fu Manchu.
Fu Manchu? That's almost certainly a trap, Nayland.
No, Petrie. Fu Manchu would not have written in a foreign language unless he was sincere.
How can you be so positive, Nayland? The man is unscrupulous, cunning.
Well, to clear all doubt, I had a cable this morning from my friend von Kramer, the German secret police, reporting the death of the Mandarin Yen Sun Yat. He died 4 days ago in the Hotel Adlon of heart failure.
That's you, Carter?
Taylor is watching from down below. Inspector Weymouth is in a taxi a little farther up the street.
Right. Well?
That's the place across the road. Slade came in 10 minutes ago. He came in a cab.
He hasn't gone out again?
No, sir. A few minutes after he came in, another cab came up with a lady. She went inside.
A lady?
Same they called on her before, sir.
Nayland, it isn't... Academy? Yes, Petrie. All right, Carter. Go back to your post. Yes. Well, perhaps you understand now, Petrie, the manner of Mr. Slade's campaign. He's working through Caramay. She was our ally once, now she's his. Acting as the go-between. Professing to reveal the secrets of Fu Manchu and all the time inveigling men to their death.
I can't believe that, Nayland. There must be something utterly wrong. She doesn't seem the same as formerly. Her eyes, there's a great fear of something hidden there.
No matter now. Come, we'll have a look at Slade's place. Those upper windows. Servants' quarters, probably. That lighted one on the ground floor to the left must be his study. Oh, splendid. The window's wide open. Evidently, he hasn't anticipated being watched.
What's our next move?
From that bench, we can look directly into the study. Careful now, no noise. See? Slade and Caramay.
Oh, yes, my dear. I shall be ready for you tomorrow night.
There will be a sufficient number of men.
Oh, my dear girl. There will be a whole division if necessary. Now, what are your orders?
I have no orders for you at the moment, but now that I know you are ready, plans shall be made.
But I must know.
I will telephone to you within less than half an hour. Now I must leave.
But, my dear, why hurry away? A little wine, perhaps?
No, nothing. There is no time to wait. I shall call on you in half an hour.
Down, Petrie. If she sees us, our chance is gone. Here, round the corner of the house, quick. This will do. Watch.
Do not go out. Wait for the call.
Of course, my dear. Good night.
Now back to that window. Weymouth is waiting out there in his taxi. He'll follow her. Come on. Here. But this Slade, what is he trying? Oh, he's apparently playing the game to suit us. Which makes it all the more important that we do not rely on his help. Listen.
Is that all for tonight, Mr. Slade?
No, Burke. No. No, I'll be going out presently. I want you to sit up until I get back.
Yes, sir. Anything else, sir?
No, that's all. Just wait around.
Time for Caramay to call him. It's 20 minutes now.
Oh, yes, this is Slade. Oh, yes, Caramay, my dear. Oh, so I'm to come at once. Yes, I know where. And you'll meet me there. Okay, right up. Yes, I'll be there in half hour. Yes. Goodbye, my dear.
Now look. He's writing something in a book. We'll have to see what's in that book, Petrie. When we get a chance.
What a rogue, man. He should be in prison.
He'll never wind up there, Petrie. If he leaves this house, he'll go straight to his death.
You mean Fu Manchu?
Why, of course. Slade's an out-and-out traitor. He plays his game according to the highest bidder. The doctor knows that as well as we do.
And do you think Slade really knows where Fu Manchu is?
I hope Carter's kept a cab waiting for us. We'll follow Slade to see where he goes.
But isn't Weymouth following Caramay?
He is, old chap. But she may throw him off the trail. With us following Slade, we'll have 2 strings to our bow. When we're sure of his destination, we can take a hand in the game. There. He's finished his writing. He'll be leaving now. Oh, yes. See? He's picked up his cane.
Oh, yes. Well, there seems to be no car here. He'll likely take a taxi.
Oh, yes. Carter's good at...
Help! Help! Help!
Shadow of Fu Manchu. The Shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. For £1,000, I will lead you to the present hiding place of Fu Manchu. Such was the proposal offered Nayland Smith by Alfred Slade, formerly a lieutenant of New York's police force. But when Smith and Dr. Petrie call on Mr. Slade, they overhear him making a similar proposal regarding Nayland Smith to Karame, who is again in the service of Fu Manchu. Shortly after Karame leaves Slade's house, he utters a horrified cry for help. We find Nayland Smith and Dr. Petrie hurrying from the open window through which they've overheard Slade's conversation with Karame to the front door.
This time, Petrie, I know we're too late, but I had no idea the blow would fall on Slade so suddenly. Inside, quick. Hurry, Petrie. Do what you can.
I warned him.
Oh, there's nothing to be done, Nayland.
Dead? Already?
Lightning couldn't have done the work quicker. Can I turn him over?
Yes. Of course.
I warned him. I warned him.
Stop that chattering. Here, get up.
Come on now. Pull yourself together, Burke.
Yes, sir.
Now, Burke, what happened here?
I was 10 yards from him when it happened.
You were the only witness. You ought to be able to help us. You say you warned him of what?
I warned him. I told him it would come to this.
That what would?
Those Orientals. His dealings with those Orientals.
Well, what sort of dealings? Who were they?
Singapore Charlie and the others.
Singapore Charlie?
Yeah. He met Charlie at an East End gambling house. He used a norm in San Francisco.
Is that the same Singapore Charlie who ran a place over Ratcliffe Way?
Yes, sir. He was the
But
same.
that place was raided and burnt to the ground.
Singapore Charlie got out of that fire and slipped through the police lines.
He was one of the gang?
He belonged to a gang we used to call in New York the Seven.
Oh, the Seven, eh? Significant, Petrie. I always suspected the Seven and Fu Manchu had a common purpose. Go on, Bert.
Well, the lieutenant was
Lieutenant? Oh, Lieutenant. Oh, yes, Pedley, or Slade, used to be a police lieutenant in New York. Go on.
Well, Slade had something on the Singapore Charlie, and when we first met him, he figured he could pull off the biggest deal of his life.
By capturing Dr. Fu Manchu, eh?
Yeah. But you beat him to it with that big raid and broke up the gang. A couple of months ago, he met Charlie again in the East End clip joint. Charlie introduced him to a dame, an Egyptian or something.
Oh, yes, go on. I know her.
Well, he saw her a good many times. And she came here once or twice. She made out that she and Charlie were ready to put the finger on the big shot of the Oriental gang.
For a price, of course.
Oh, yeah. Slade wasn't going to step into some other guy's racket without he got plenty of jack for her.
And now, what took place tonight?
He had a date with this dame here. And...
Yes, I know all that, but what happened after the telephone call from Karame?
Well, he told me to stick around till he came back. He figured on going out. I was getting a little shut-eye in the next room when the phone woke me up.
Cat, what a language. Well, and then?
Well, Slade went to get his hat from the rack.
Yes?
But he never got it off the hook. Just as he reached for it, he let out a yell and whirled, just like someone had jumped him from behind.
There was no one else in the hall?
Just us two. I was over there outside the dining room by the stairs. He looked behind him as if he expected to see someone. And he stood there yelling, and before I could get to him, he fell.
I see. Is that all you know, Burke?
That's all, so help me. And that's all I saw.
What killed him, Petrie?
Well, apparently a minute wound on the left wrist. You see this small inflamed spot?
Oh, yes.
Beginning to puff up.
By Jove. You know what it is?
Well, it's a bite of some kind. It's too late to use a ligature. Death was practically instantaneous.
Oh, Burke, you were a member of the New York force.
Yes, sir. Detective second class. I quit when Slade did and took this job with him.
Oh, I see. Well, now listen. I don't want that door open to anyone. Understand? No one, no matter who it is.
What is it, Smith? What's wrong?
Stand right there by the study door, Weymouth. You, Burke, stay where you are. Don't move, Petrie. It may still be here in the hallway.
What are you looking for?
The thing that killed Slade. A snake of some sort. It's deadly, Weymouth. Probably not very large. So be careful how you move around. We've got to search this place from roof to cellar. Hey, not a thing to be found in the entire place. But it must be here somewhere.
Well, isn't it possible that it got out when we came in last night, Nayland?
Oh, yes, there is that possibility. In case it did, Weymouth, I want that garden gone over with a fine-tooth comb. Every inch of it. Tell your men to work with sticks, to keep their hands off the ground and be extremely careful in examining the underbrush.
Right. See to it, Carter.
Righto, sir.
And now, Weymouth, how about Caramay? You followed her when she left this place last night?
I did, but she was too clever for me. I lost her. But the track, as far as I could follow, leads to the old spot. I'm pretty sure Fu Manchu's den is somewhere near that old place of Shenyang, Singapore Charlie.
We'll look into that presently. From Burke, Slade's assistant, I learned that Singapore Charlie is mixed up in this somehow.
How was it done, Smith? How was Slade killed?
Clumsily for Fu Manchu. A snake was introduced into the house by some means.
Very possibly by Caramay.
My thought is that it was concealed about his clothing. When he fell, it slid out of the house as we came in.
Slade must be moved. Otherwise, we can leave the place untouched. We'll clear out the servants and lock the house up.
Yes, I've already instructed Burke to that effect. Nothing has been disturbed. All the papers and books and things you can examine at your leisure. Well, Petrie and I can do no more here. If you want us, we'll be at home.
Right.
Come along, Petrie. Yes, Petrie, for Fu Manchu, this crime was clumsy and unfinished. Either Fu Manchu is losing his old cunning or he was interrupted.
Interrupted?
Yes. Take the facts, old chap. Is it characteristic of Fu Manchu to kill by the direct agency of a snake and implicate one of his own servants in the way he's done?
But there was no snake found.
Caramay introduced one into that house in some way. Or have you some other explanation?
Well, certainly Caramay visited him last night, but you must be perfectly aware that even had she been arrested, no jury could convict her.
As a counsel for the defense, you constantly rectify my errors of prejudice. Yet I'm convinced that our presence at Slade's house last night prevented the doctor from finishing off his little matter as he'd planned it.
Well, what gives you that idea?
Weymouth's call from the yard a few minutes ago. The constable on duty at Slade's house reports that someone, less than an hour after Weymouth and his men left, tried to break in.
Eh? They tried to break in?
Yes. Oh. So you're interested, eh? I thought the circumstance rather illuminating, too.
Well, did the constable see him?
No, he only heard him. It was someone who tried to get in by the bathroom window. The servants, you know, are all out of the place. The bathroom may be reached fairly easily by an agile climber.
The attempt succeeded?
No. The constable interrupted the fellow, but failed to make a capture or even catch a glimpse of him.
I see. What do you propose to do? You have something in mind, of course.
Yes, I have. Tonight, I'm going to conceal myself in Slade's house and stay there until that attempt is repeated.
I shall, of course, go with you, Nayland. It's quite obvious, then, that we overlooked something which implicates the murderer.
In short, Petrie, either by accident, by reason of our vigilance, or by the clumsiness of his plans, Dr. Fu Manchu, for once, has left a clue. We shall go there tonight. We'll watch from the study, Petrie. It's only a step from here to the hallway, and I'm convinced that out there in that hall is the thing our man will come for.
But what can it be? There isn't a thing out there or in the house that points to Fu Manchu.
It must be something we've overlooked. Something all of us have missed.
You ever noticed, Nayland, that Fu Manchu's agents usually confine their work to the period between 2 and 4 in the morning?
Yes. And it's not merely coincidence, Petrie. Presumably, that's the time when sleep is most profound. One doesn't waken so easily between those hours.
But in this instance, it doesn't apply. Fu Manchu must know that this house is unoccupied. There's no one to waken.
Ah, but there are neighbors, old chap. The doctor's agents don't wish to be seen, much less heard. I think, however, that... Shh. Listen. Skylight. He's using the skylight in the roof. Come on. We'll wait for him by the doorway. Here. On this side of the door. I'll take the other side. He's on the stairs. Bare feet or rubber-soled shoes. Watch. Now, when he gets down,
I'll give the word. Now, Petrie. Lights, Petrie, lights. Near the door. Quick. Get his stick, Petrie.
I've got it.
Quick. Tap him. Over the head.
Why, Jove. This fellow. Not the usual decoy.
No. A black. A Moor. That stick. Give it to me.
Huh?
Oh. Not Aaron's rod, Petrie. The rod of Moses. Slade's cane.
By Jove, you're right. Then that stick over there on the rack, a duplicate.
Just a minute. Examine that other, but don't touch it.
All right, surely they can't be too like. Why, great heavens, Neighbor.
You see? In every particular, it corresponds with the one in your hand, excepting this. Up to the snake's head, it's an accurate copy. But the head in that one in the rack is alive.
The shadow of Fu Manchu. The shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Romer. The double-dealing tactics of Alfred Slade, crooked private detective, have brought him death at the hands of Fu Manchu in place of the £1,000 he'd expected to receive from Nayland Smith. But Fu Manchu's murder agent has carelessly left a clue to the manner in which Slade had been killed, in the form of a curiously carved cane, the duplicate of Slade's own stick. He returns to the house to exchange sticks and is trapped by Smith and Dr. Petrie. We find them now comparing the two canes.
Notice, Petrie, the duplicate resembles Slade's Australian stick in every respect save one. Where Slade's handle is the carved head of a snake, the hollowed-out duplicate contains a live snake.
Great Scott, and I touched it.
Either from pain, fear, or starvation, the thing became torpid. Otherwise, no power on earth could have saved you from the fate of Alfred Slade.
But what sort of a reptile so deadly?
Very deadly one indeed, Petrie. That thing's an Australian death adder. Far more deadly and poisonous than the king cobra of India.
Joe, I was apparently very close to her.
Yes, to an extremely horrible death, old chap. Well, we'll take this venomous little agent of Fu Manchu's into the garden and kill it before it does any further damage.
And our friend here who came after it?
We'll turn him over to Weymouth at Scotland Yard. Come along, old man. We've finished here.
Any news, Inspector Mackay?
Nothing, Doctor. I'm sorry.
Been gone over 24 hours. No news of them at the yard either. What could have happened?
They stopped here last night about this time on the way to Redcliffe Highway. Mr. Smith told me they were following a clue supplied by the man Burke. Yes, they were on their way to some den where they hoped to find Singapore Charlie. Oh, I should have gone with them, but a most urgent call from one of my patients prevented it. A good job you didn't go if anything has happened. However, I'm sure there's no cause for alarm. Mr. Smith realized what he was going into and would keep an eye out for trouble. But if Burke has led them into a trap... Well, I've waited as long as I can. I've simply got to have action of some sort. One can't just sit idly by, you know. I understand. We're doing all we can, naturally, to locate them. Some of the Scotland Yard men are dragging that section of the river. There's a launch patrolling the riverside from here to Tilbury. Seems that somebody should have turned up something. Very likely we'll know more presently, Doctor. Meantime, would you care to run out to the breakwater with me? There's a launch out there also. No, thanks. You chaps are doing all that can be done, but... can you give me the address of the place Smith went to? No, I can't. But Benson, you remember him. He was with us the night Weymouth and Fu Manchu went into the river. Oh, yes, I remember. Well, what about him? Limehouse used to be his beat before he transferred to the river police. He knows it quite well. Smith talked to him before they left. I'll call him. I say, Benson, I'll come in here a moment. This chap's a good man, Doctor. I suggest if you entertain the idea of going down there, you take him with you.
Yes, Inspector.
Benson, you remember Dr. Petrie? Neil and Smith's associate?
Oh, yes. Glad to see you again, Doctor.
How are you, Benson? You talked with Mr. Smith last night before he and Burke went into Limehouse. Do you know what place they went to?
Yes. You remember Shen Yan's place? Well, further east of the causeway, there's a block of old wooden buildings.
Between Gill and Colt Streets, eh? I remember the place. Is Singapore Charlie in there now?
He was, until Inspector Weymouth raided the place early this morning. Charlie got away, and there was no sign of Mr. Smith or Burke the American who led him to the place.
Has it been definitely established that they went there?
Yes, it is. 2 CID men were shadowing. They saw the pair go in, and a signal had been arranged, but was never given. At 4:30, the place was raided, but no trace of Mr. Smith or his companion was found.
Were any arrests made?
Oh, yes. But there was no evidence to hold them by. Every inch of the place was searched. There wasn't a thing. I know definitely, for some of us rivermen were in the raid.
And is the place being watched now? I can answer that, Doctor. It's being watched both from the river and from the shore. But I'm afraid our men are not there.
Inspector Mackay is right, sir. Mr. Smith and Burke are certainly not in that place. As a matter of fact, it's padlocked since the raid. Lord knows where they are, but they're not in there.
But they must be somewhere. Would you care to go with me, Benson, and show me the place?
Gladly. That is, if Inspector Mackay...
I had suggested you go with Dr. Petrie, Benson, but that's a dangerous section, and Well, I don't know about you, Doctor.
But don't worry about me, Mackay. I'm quite able to look after myself.
I've simply got to do something, get into the search somehow. Right. Go along, Benson. And don't let Dr. Petrie out of your sight for a moment. And be careful, both of you.
This is the place, Dr. Petrie. Not too much light from the street lamp there. The fog doesn't help.
It's a black hole, isn't it? Is that the building?
No, the next one. This is a deserted warehouse. We'll have to go up the alley a little way.
Right. You wait here, driver. If you hear a police whistle, follow us up the alley.
Right, sir.
Very well, Benson. Carry on.
I don't know what you expect to find, Doctor. There won't be anyone around since the raid this morning.
I don't either, but... Well, we may stumble onto something. You said the place was being watched? Where would the men be?
Well, they should be watching Shen Yan's. Very likely they're hidden out somewhere. Here we are. Shen Yan's.
Is there any way we can get to the back, the riverside?
Not through here. We'll have to go back to that warehouse to get to the wharf behind these places.
Suppose we try that. I don't know why, but I'd like to look at the back of the place.
Right. We'll go back then. It's only a step. Bad spot, this, Doctor. Heaven only knows what goes on here most of the time. It's hard for the police to control. Here we are.
That gate.
It opens on stone steps down to an arch, and then through a passage to the wharf in the rear.
Oh. One can see the rear of the buildings from that wharf?
Yes. We'll have a look if you say so.
Oh, come on, then. Gad. I wonder the authorities don't tear these old buildings down and erect decent ones. This is a warehouse, you say?
It was, sir, at one time. Now you may find anything housed in it.
God, what's that?
There, right in front of us, that white shape. What?
By Jove, it's a peacock. A white peacock. Catch it, Ben.
Yes. Here, got him, sir. White peacock. What's a bird like this doing down here in one of the dirtiest spots in London?
By Jove, yes. I wonder. Probably escaped from some collector's place on the riverside. One never knows, Benson. It may mean something vastly more important. We'll take it back to the taxi. Come on.
God blimey, sir. What have you got there?
Open the door, driver. Make sure the windows are up.
Windows closed. She's all tight, sir.
I'll put the bird in the car. See that it doesn't escape. Now, if you don't hear from us at the end of an hour, take the bird back to the River Police Station and tell Inspector Mackay to keep it for me.
Right-o, sir. The first time I ever saw a peacock in Limehouse, sir.
And I shouldn't imagine peacocks are very often found in this quarter, especially white ones. Have an idea, Benson. Let's go back to that warehouse.
Right, sir.
You know the riverside rather well, I take it. Do you know of any place such a bird might come from?
I was about to say, Doctor, to my knowledge, there are no collectors or dealers in anything of the kind along this section of the Thames.
White peacock. With what country or people, Benson, do you associate peacocks? Go back into your childhood picture books, pictures of Chinese gardens. Weren't there usually peacocks in those pictures?
By Jove, I say you're right. Why, even the mandarins wore peacock feathers in their hats.
Exactly, Benson. I think we've stumbled onto something. I'm wondering, though, what the devil is the significance of a white peacock?
Here we are, Doctor. The warehouse.
Dirty, broken windows. Or is that one above the arch open? Can you see?
It's open, I'd say. At least there's no frame visible.
Would you care to go inside the building with me? I have a feeling we're on the track of something.
Right, Doctor. Anything you say. The only way in, though, is through this gate, down the stairs, and then there's a door on the right under the arch.
You're armed, of course. You have a flashlight?
Right here.
Good. I also have my revolver and a light. I think we'd better not separate once we're inside. Come along.
Here's the door, Doctor.
How are we going to get in? It's locked.
Let's see if any of my skeleton keys will work. Why, Joe, it wasn't locked at all. Just stuck. I say, that's odd. These old warehouses are all locked up tight. By Jove, Doctor, we have hit on something. Someone must have...
Wait a minute. Did you hear anything?
No.
Listen.
Nothing, sir.
Oh, my imagination, probably. Only I thought... But let's try the upper floors first, then the cellars. We'll take these stairs at the end of this corridor. Come on.
What was it you thought you heard, Doctor?
Oh, nothing, I suppose. Can't be sure, but it sounded like a soft tapping somewhere above. Well, here's the stairs.
Wait. Look at this. The prints of bare feet in the dust.
Not alone bare feet, Benson. Look here. By Jove, man, these stairs have been used just a short time ago.
And by several persons. Shall we go on?
Yes. Just possible that some Weymouth's men were in this morning during the raid next door.
Possible, Doctor, but not very probable. Police officers are usually in the habit of wearing boots.
Those bare footprints. Here, look. Well, we'll take every room and have a look inside as we go. Come along.
Well, there's nothing in here but rubbish. No prints in the dust of the floor.
Listen. By Jove! The man with the limp. Manchu! I say, Benson, where? Benson! Where the deuce are you? Benson!
The shadow of Fu Manchu. The shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. In following up a clue given him by Burke, the ex-New York policeman, to the hideout of Fu Manchu, Nayland Smith vanishes in London's underworld. Dr. Petrie joins the manhunt for his friend, and accompanied by Benson, a detective, goes to Limehouse hoping to find a clue to Smith's whereabouts. Near the spot where his friend was last seen, Benson and Dr. Petrie capture a stray white peacock, and in searching a presumably deserted warehouse, they hear in the corridor above them the dragging step of the man with the limp. As Petrie turns to caution Benson to silence, he finds himself alone, and a moment later, out of the darkness of the corridor, comes a thin, wailing cry. Then...
Benson! Benson, where are you? Benson! Benson!
Enough, Hassan. Enough. Do not strangle him to death. Loosen the rope. Quick.
Snooping dogs are better dead.
Do as I say. Remove the rope at once.
It is done.
Now, place him in the end room with the other.
Hearing is obeying.
Hurry, Hassan. He is waiting.
It is done. May Allah like him.
Come now, quickly. He has work for you.
Oh. They were almost strangled. Someone here in this room. Who's there? Remember Fu Manchu's menagerie. What? I just looked out. Again, they left me my flash. Great Scott, Nayland. What? Bound and gagged. I'll get that gag out in a moment. I thank heaven you're alive, old man. Here, there you are.
Petrie, old chap. When they threw you in here, I thought you were dead.
I've been thinking the same about you for the past 24 hours. Why the devil did you come without me?
I didn't want you to come. I had a premonition. Here, untie my hands.
Oh.
How did you get here? How did you know where to look for me?
I had no idea of finding you. There. Now your ankle.
Just loosen the ropes. Don't take them off. They'll be back in a moment. When they find you're able to move around, they'll tie you up. Did you know that she's here?
Academy? Yes, I've seen her.
And upstairs. Quiet. Here they come. Put this gag of mine back into place, loosely. And pretend to recover consciousness just as they come in.
I am here.
Tie him up like the other.
It shall be done. And may Allah blacken the face of the snooping dog. Oh, may the master find a way to prolong the suffering of these two. It is done.
Leave them so, until the master asks for them. Now come.
It's gone. Oh. Now, I'll have you free in a moment, Petrie. As soon as I get rid of these ropes. There. Now yours.
Oh, that's better. Now these ropes. What are we going to do?
I'm not sure. False move, they're lost.
Yeah.
There. You're free.
How long have you been here, Nayland?
Since last night.
But the raid this morning, Weymouth, what?
It was next door, Shenyan's. I heard them go through the place. Even though I was bound and gagged, that Arab Hassan stood over me with a knife until they left.
None of them came here?
No, why should they? The place was thought to be deserted. Fu Manchu is here.
Yes, we heard him. That strange limping step in the cane.
We? Was someone with you then?
Great Scott. Benson, I'd almost forgotten it. Just after we heard the tapping of Fu Manchu's cane, Benson disappeared.
Poor devil. Heaven knows where he is now.
Was the doctor here during the raid next door?
No. He came this evening. He and another.
Another?
The superior Fu Manchu's, apparently. Something unusual is going on. Otherwise, I'd have been dead 24 hours ago.
Huh? But how did they get you?
Oh, Burke and I were caught napping next door in Shenyan's or Singapore Charlie's. We were sandbagged and brought here. At least I was. When I came to, I was as you found me. Have you a pistol?
No, it was in my raincoat. They took that. But they left me my flashlight.
That's something, at least. They took my gun last night. We might escape by that window. It's directly over the archway.
Too long a drop, Nayland. You mean broken bones. There must be some other way.
There is. There's a trap somewhere on this floor. I've heard them using it. It's very likely the way I was brought here.
It connects with the place next door, then, eh?
Yes. There's a very important meeting being held somewhere in this building, Petrie. Between Fu Manchu and a certain Mandarin. A man I believe to be the real head of the Sifan. I've got to see that man's face. Oh, you and Benson came alone?
Yeah. Oh, wait. How long was I unconscious?
Close to half an hour.
Then the car that brought us is still waiting at the corner of the alley.
You have a police whistle? Mine was taken from me.
Yes?
Good. Then we'll take a chance. That door will be unlocked. Come along. It's dark, but I think we can see well enough to get along without the flash. Close the door softly. Now, there's a branch closet just ahead. Watch for it. Ah, here. Good. To the right, somewhere close by, must be that trap. It'll be in the floor. See if you can find it. Use your flash, but be careful.
Oh, down there at the end of this corridor. A lighted window.
Uh-huh. Probably the room where that meeting's being held. Petrie, as soon as you've located the trap, I'm going to have a look into that window. It's closed, you see. Otherwise, we'd hear their voices.
Ah, here it is. The trap.
Try it. It may be fastened from the underside.
Ah, it's open. Stairway down.
Down into one of the lower rooms. We'll use it later. Now for that window. Come on. If anyone comes upon us suddenly, lie down and go close to the wall. See?
The Sifan has conferred upon you this greatest of honors, Dr. Fu. And in the hour of this supreme honor, calamity and dishonor fall upon you. You know the penalty.
That's no great one. Death shall be my lot since I deserve it. But not until I have finished my business here in England. There is none other to take my place.
The fact has been pressingly laid before the spirits of our distinguished ancestors with a request for their intervention. You are granted a month's time in which to finish your business.
So from what? The all-wise one has spoken. This person has heard.
One thing more. Should you meanwhile regain possession of that which you have lost, it will be a day of well-achieved triumph for the spirits of your expected ancestors. For you shall be restored to high honor.
Come, Petrie. Quick, I've heard enough.
And it shall be as
You know the man? His back was turned to her.
Nevertheless, I recognize him. My suspicions are verified.
Who is he, Nayland?
I can't tell you, Petrie. For anyone outside of the group to know the name of the head center of the Sifan is more dangerous than dynamite.
Yes?
So Fu Manchu, who has rained terror upon the earth, stands in peril of disgrace for having lost the decoration. Now, here we are. Here's the trap. Open it. We'll get in touch with Weymouth at once.
Not that way.
What?
Oh, not that
Caroline,
way. They will be coming back that way. You won't think. If you would save your lives and spare mine, trust me.
Trust you, Caroline.
Oh, yes. Trust me. Just for once. And I will show you the way.
Why should we trust you?
Oh, won't you listen? You must. Come, or it will be too late.
Well, I suppose it's it. By Jove, the trap is lifting.
Oh, it is too late. You are lost.
Back, Petrie, quick.
Not that way, Fu Manchu. He's behind us.
The stairs at the head of the corridor. No use, old chap. We're blocked there, too. They're coming up the stairs.
Police whistle. Wait a minute.
The whistle, Petrie.
I can't.
No, stop. Do not kill them yet, Hassan. Tie their hands securely.
Yes, master.
Good, Hassan. Good. You have come at an opportune time, gentlemen. At a time when the greatest man in the East flatters me with a visit.
Little flattery to us, Fu Manchu.
A tremendous honor has been conferred upon me. I have been admitted to the sacred order of the White Peacock.
White Peacock?
And in the hour of this great honor, disgrace has fallen upon me. Oh, God of Cathay, and what have I sinned that this catastrophe has fallen upon my head? Learn, my friends, that the sacred white peacock brought to England for my undying glory has been lost to me.
Even a white peacock won't save you from death, Fu Manchu.
For one deed alone may I win a lighter punishment. By your immediate death and the resignation of all my titles, honors, and lands, may I be spared to complete my work. So, my friends, you must die. Hassan.
Yes, master.
The knife, Hassan, for these two.
Wait, Dr. Fu, wait.
A moment, Hassan. Dr. Petrie, I shall always listen to you with respect.
I have an offer to make. Give us our lives, and I will restore your shattered honor. I will restore to you the sacred white peacock.
What? Petrie, have you gone mad?
What do you know of the white peacock, Dr. Petrie? Speak.
I'm the only one who knows where your white peacock is, Dr. Fu. I alone can restore it.
You, Dr. Petrie, you know? Why, you are lying. It is a trick to gain time. You lie. You lie, I say. My honor is lost. The knife, Hassan. The knife.
The Shadow of Fu Manchu. The Shadow of Fu Manchu. Based on the stories by Sax Roma. In seeking his friend, Alan Smith, Dr. Petrie is trapped in a deserted warehouse by agents of Fu Manchu. In the room where he is confined, he discovers Alan Smith also a prisoner. They escape from the room, but are again quickly overpowered by Fu Manchu's men. Dr. Fu, in disgrace with his superior, through loss of a sacred white peacock, informs Smith and Dr. Petrie that only by their immediate death can he partially redeem his honor. Dr. Petrie, having earlier in the evening found the peacock, offers it in exchange for their lives. And Dr. Fu, believing Petrie is merely stalling for time, orders his men to strike the death blow.
No, Dr. Fu, wait. Have I ever lied to you? I swear I can restore the peacock. You may have the bird in 10 minutes.
Oh, God of Cathay. Oh, God of the Golden Age, like a phoenix I arise from the ashes of myself. Quick, Dr. Petrie, make your bargain.
You will release me now, immediately. Mr. Smith will remain here. One of your servants will accompany me. The peacock.
And Mr. Smith?
Mr. Smith and yourself or another will join me at the corner of the alley. We'll turn the peacock over to you and give you 15 minutes race, after which we shall take whatever steps we choose.
Agreed. Hassan, you have heard. Untie them. Then go with Dr. Petrie. When he shows you the white peacock, you will call me.
Petrie, do you know what you're doing? Yes, I do. All right. Come, Hassan. Here's my cap, Hassan. Wait.
No, blimey, sir. I was just about to head for the river police.
Peacock, is it? Oh, thank heaven you didn't let it get away.
I shall take the bird to the master.
No. Give the signal, Hassan, quick. And now, Hassan, you may go or stay as you wish.
I shall await the master. It is his order.
Here they come.
Dr. Petrie, the sacred white peacock. You have restored my honor. I am in your debt. Sometime that debt will be paid in full. And now, gentlemen,
I bid you good night.
Well, by Jove, Petrie, old man. I've been close to death, Nayland, but I hope never to be that near it again. When that Arab devil reached for me with his knife...
And so we exchange a poor, frightened bird for our lives.
And with characteristic audacity, Dr. Fu Manchu comes in person to receive back his honor.
Digging through the echo shadow screaming night, breathing in the silence, wrestling with the light. Eyes half open, blind, I dance on the edge, rolled up like the waves on town's crooked ledge. Whispering ghosts tangled in my veins, dreams heavy like the chains pulling at my stains. Skies turn to pitch, wander in the maze, lost within a haze, searching for the blaze. Beneath the surface lies a shattered sea, fragments of who I'd never dare to be, drowning in the deep.
Back his honor. It would be amusing, Nayland, if it was not such a terribly serious situation.
Come, let's get back to Scotland Yard.
Mrs. McGregor, what in the name of common sense are you doing up at this time of night? Why, it's past 2 o'clock. Why don't you go to bed?
Oh, I have been in bed, Doctor, but I cannot sleep. But with your coughing, and you are a medical man, why don't you take some for the cough and go to bed yourself?
My coughing? You must have been dreaming. Why should I cough?
Oh, bless me, sir. What was that?
Nayland, what is it? Great heavens. Nayland, old man. Brace up.
Oh, bless me. What's the matter with him, on? Ah, he's positively blue.
Yes, he's choking. That flask on the dressing table. Mix a bit of brandy and water. Hurry. Oh, thank you. Yeah, are you all right? Thank heaven you woke up, Mrs. McGregor. Nayland, here, drink this.
Petrie.
That's all right, old man.
The poor man's in pain, Doctor.
There's no cause for alarm.
Will you look at his throat?
Petrie. Did you see?
No, it's all right, Nayland. No. Don't sit up. Lie still for a moment. Mrs. McGregor, will you go to the kitchen and heat some water? Hurry, please.
I'll have it at once.
And some gauze from my office.
I'll bring it.
Nayland. Oh, what was it? What happened?
Close escape, Petrie. Phew. I have the strength. The kitten.
Your weakness will pass. There'll be no collapse now.
You're broke, man.
Bad shape. Tell me, what was it?
Heaven only knows. But no human arm could have reached me from the window.
The window? But it's open only 4 inches. Won't open further since we fixed those iron brackets to the frames.
How else could anything reach me if not through the window?
But the bed is 4 feet from the window.
Yes, I know. Nevertheless, that was a narrow shave, Petrie, old man.
Narrower than you appreciate. You were a most unusual shade of blue when I found you. Ah, here's Mrs. McGregor with hot water and bandages.
Ah, it is good to see you out of it, Mr. Smith. You were fair choking to death. And you was coughing so a body couldn't...
Coughing. That's it, Petrie. The coughing.
You mean to say it wasn't you coughing?
No, old chap, it wasn't. I was awakened just before the attack by someone coughing. A sort of grunting cough.
An attack, you say, Mr. Smith? But who'll be attacking in a house that's locked up? Right top to bottom.
Yes, it was a dream, Mrs. McGregor. Nightmare. You're right. No one could reach me here.
Oh, of course. Now, you'd better go back to bed, Mrs. McGregor, and get what sleep you can.